Eagles. Eagles.
Welcome in, everybody, to the JAKIB Postgame Show here. It's the Week 5 edition, and the Eagles have officially lost their first game of 2025 in unprecedented fashion. A very interesting second half of the football game. An abomination of a fourth quarter for the Eagles, marred with flags, inconsistent offense, and all the same on all the like. 21-17 Big Sills. The Denver Broncos come to Philadelphia and upset the Eagles and win the football game. Big Sills, your first reactions here to this one?
Boy, I'll tell you, man, I said whoever won the rushing game would win the game, and that played itself out. You know, prior to ending the pregame show, we were looking at 18. Don't be shocked if you see an 18-17 game. But, boy, I'll tell you what, man, that thing got shut down in the second half, and the offense was shut down in the second half. The defense was run on. And in my opinion, once again, Zander, the defensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles, they got ran over in this ball game. They literally were ran over in this ball game. And what was able for them to get back in this game was the ability to be able to run the football. Protecting the football, not turning it over. They played Eagle football on them, basically, didn't they? I mean, they really got timely sacks. How many sacks did Jalen Hurts take today? Six? I know, too, that people were saying they were all minus-yard plays that he took in this ball game. Even with those two, Zander, you put them all together, they're minus-yardage plays.
Obviously, some have bigger impact, but you're right. I mean, 6 sacks is too many sacks. He looked like he was, struggling in the pocket Sills for a lot of that game. That pass rush, that Denver pass rush is really no joke, man. They get after the quarterbacks. I'm like still kind of in a little bit of a state of shock. One, the Eagles always figure out how to win games. They finally didn't figure out how to win a football game. Jalen Hurts was 23-38 for 280 yards and 2 touchdowns. One thing jumps out at me on the box score: 6 carries for Saquon Barkley.
No
Six
doubt.
carries for 30 yards for Saquon Barkley. Now, is this an overcorrection? I don't know. I didn't feel like that. I didn't feel like they were trying to overcorrect, though, and then I look at the box score at the end of the game, and you're like, 6 carries for 30 yards.
They're not capable of having a balanced attack. It's clear in the play calling. Dude, 1 week you're here, 1 week you're here. They are not good at really being balanced in play calling. It's a tale of halves in how they do things, dude. I mean, really, the play calling is suspect at best. You know what John's going to say? Players got to make plays. Coaches got to put players in positions to be able to make plays too.
Agreed.
And to me, I mean, they basically got away completely from the run game. How many carries for Barkley? 6?
6 carries, Sills.
Okay, well then now look, I get that the injury to Landon Dickerson could maybe have played an issue in this, because they were not very good in the middle of the offensive line in this game. Denver beat them up, dude, in the second half of that game. They took complete control of that game, both offensive line-wise and defensive line-wise, and they got back into the football game, dominating the point of attack. The Eagles are not very good right now on the O-line and on the D-lines right now.
18-0 in the fourth quarter. That was the score of the fourth quarter. Denver had 18 unanswered to come back from 17-3 and win the football game 21-17 in this football game. Really crazy. So something I got to talk to you about.
How about the 15 points in 5.5 minutes?
Yeah.
They were able to roll back in on them.
Fell apart. The offense couldn't move the football, and the defense fell apart. Now, I still feel like this offense doesn't help this defense at all, but there's no doubt about the defense fell apart in the fourth quarter. I mean,
they did, man, and especially against the run. J.K. Dobbs really had an outstanding football game, especially in the second half when they were able to, really start to get control of that line. Dobbins had a really great game. Look at his Zander. I mean, in my opinion, those 79 yards and that touchdown, they were hard-earned runs in that game. 4 yards a clip. And as we said, if you take Jalen Hurts' 2 carries that he had in the football game out, you had 9 total carries in the game. For a team that is built around running the football, boy, I'll tell you what, like I said, Zander, You cannot in any way whatsoever see a balanced approach with this football team. Look, 38 attempts. Well, here's another stat for you. You know this, when they're throwing the ball 38 times or over 30 times, that football team's not going to win.
So
there's another example of that.
Do I right now, and I will eat this crow because I've been one that's been calling for a more balanced passing attack, a better approach in the air, and we need to do it. Well, the first game they do it, and Saquon has 6 carries, we lose the game. Do I look like the jerk off? Am I due a play to crow right here on the postgame show? Because we come out, Jalen Hurts, hey, how many yards he throw for today? We got our 280 yards, Pat, 280 yards and 2 touchdowns, 38 attempts, and we lose the game. Am I way off on this, man? Is this team really not built to play this way? What do you see here? How do you break this down?
They're just not,
what do you think?
They're just not a very balanced team, dude. They cannot call a balanced game. You overcorrect so much so that you throw the ball nearly 40 times in the game and you run the ball with Barkley only 6 times. Dude, and then again, I mean, why can't you get a little of both? We saw a little bit of it in the first half, didn't we? Yeah. I thought we saw a little more, like there was some balance with the passing, the running. They were playing defense. I'll tell you what, all them 3 and outs caught that defense in the second half, didn't they? They got tired in that second half. And I'll say this to you too. As good of a half that Mitchell had in the first half, he got beat in the second half.
And Keely Ringo, man, look, Keely Ringo was a noticeable liability today, both with penalties and coverage, all sorts of different areas. Sills, what do you make of all the penalties, man? I mean, look, I'm not a penalty guy. Like, I don't like to blame shit on officials. That was a weirdly officiated game. The Eagles had, I don't know, Broncos had 12 penalties for 121 yards. How about that? The Eagles had 9 penalties for 55 yards. But the thing about the Eagles penalties, they were such costly penalties. You know, that Zach Bond, I don't know. Did you think that was a penalty, that Zach Bond one?
I thought it was an overcorrecting of a penalty that they had earlier. And I thought there was a lot of overcorrecting going on. Like the refs would make a mistake and then they would go on a questionable call on another call. Yeah, again, it was a little bit topsy-turvy in how they called that football game. I didn't think it was a well-officiated game, obviously, and I thought the Bond play was a little bit over the top. I would have given that.
It was close, though, because he was on the ground and Bond came in toward the head. Yeah, and that's why I thought, because you came in toward the head, the officials are always a little, sensitive about that.
Absolutely. And did you notice the guy who threw the flag was the guy that was on the Broncos side? And I'm sure Peyton screaming at him on that side. So, I mean, listen, 21 penalties in a football game, almost 200 yards and total yards between both teams. Not a very well officiated football game.
How about coaching, Big Sills? And we're going to talk about we'll talk about some of the other things as well. We will talk about the A.J. Brown thing. I want to welcome and thank everybody for being here in the JAKIB Postgame Show. Don't forget to hit that like button. The Eagles dropped the first game of their 2025 campaign. They're 4-1 on the year. They lose 21-17 to the Bo Nix-led Denver Broncos, and he made a litany of mistakes today too, but found a way to win the football game in the end. Big Sills, felt to me today like the Philadelphia Eagles were outcoached. What say you?
Absolutely. I mean, you had a lesser talented football team beat you today. I mean, we saw it the other day when the San Francisco 49ers had a well-coached game with Kyle Shanahan, and I thought that Sean McVay's Rams ended up getting outcoached in that game. I completely thought they were outcoached. And by the way, did Sean Payton, in my opinion, with Bo Nix in the second half of that game, he had the better and the upper hand of Vic Fangio in that second half.
Yes, he did.
You could say whatever
first half he did not. Second half he completely did.
Okay.
Well, the proof is in the pudding, right? I mean, right, Sills, how can you deny it?
18 points.
Yeah, 18 points in the fourth quarter. 18 unanswered points in the fourth quarter.
With Bo Nix. Okay, so he had the upper hand. How about Sean Payton with the Nuggets, unlike Sean McVay going for it for 2?
Yeah.
And that was the decision of the game for him because that forced the Eagles to have to go for a touchdown.
Right, and they would have been able to tie the football. Exactly. They would have been able to tie the football game at the end.
That's having Stundines to be able to know you're on the road. I got to win a game. I'm not beating this team by kicking an extra point. They're going to come back and run down the field. Elliott would have hit that. We'd be in overtime. Eagles win at home. And Peyton said, no way. We're going for the win right here.
Sills, I have been a defender of A.J. Brown this year, okay? A.J. Brown has had a propensity in the last couple weeks to tip his hand on when he's not getting the football.
Correct.
By stopping his runs, by not being fully committed, whether he's getting the ball or not. And today, I thought that really caught him, and it really burned him. And on that touchdown pass, what looked to be a perfect ball from Jalen Hurts, AJ slows up. He must have not thought the ball was coming his way, and it bites you in the ass. He's not there. They miss on a big touchdown throw there, which could have really opened the game up and changed the complete outcome of the game. I'm sorry, but that's egregious by A.J. Brown. You're a $32 million wide receiver. You're a captain of this football team. Whether you think you're getting the ball or not, whether Jalen Hurts throws for 50 yards or 450 yards, you got to keep your legs moving. And I thought that really, really, really cost the team in the second half of the game today.
I'll tell you, man, I think A.J. Brown, man, when play comes play side to him, he's electric. But when the plays don't go to him, and it's not with any involvement, the play call is designed for. Boy, I'll tell you what, man, he gives you a half-ass effort. And I thought, again, everything that he did in that football game, we were expecting him to have a breakout football game. Thank God for DeVonta. DeVonta had a huge ball game today, and I thought he was great. I thought AJ was lost out there, man. And I'll tell you what, Patrick Surtain, I thought Patrick Surtain had his way with him.
Yeah, well, he did. He did for the most part. I mean, there was a couple catches here and there, but you're right. Pat Surtain is just a lockdown player. Big Sills, the offense remains the problem here. And look, we're going to talk more about A.J. Brown. We'll get John McMullen's taking it later in the show. We will go to our Super Chats a little bit later on. I want to thank everybody for being here. Hit that like button. Defense wasn't great. There's no doubt. But let me just run you down 4 drives. Again, we have the tale of two halves. Eagles' second half drives, and this is after, obviously, the massive Saquon Barkley touchdown throw, which was a great play by Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, before their final desperation drives. They had 4 drives between that touchdown drive and their final desperation drive. Ready? 5 plays, 23 yards, punt. 3 plays, minus 16 yards, punt. 3 plays, negative 6 yards, punt. 3 plays, 2 yards, punt. That's 3 3-and-outs, 1 5-yard drive, 14 plays that results in 3 yards of offense. I mean,
they can't run the ball.
What is it with this offense, though, where they are like addicted to being as inconsistent as you can possibly be within a game? I think
it's predictable. I think it's predictable. You're either going to throw it or you're going to run it. You're not going to do both. Xander, name me. Again, I thought I saw a little bit of balance in the first half. Once they got behind, they completely got away from the balance. They did not want to run the football at all. How many carries did Saquon Barkley have in the second half? What did he have? 2?
I'd have to look at what he got in the second half.
What did he have? 2 carries in the second half? They
and the funny part about that is we didn't lose the lead until the fourth quarter. So it's not like we were playing from behind to where you don't want to run the football. The score was 17-3 until the fourth quarter.
He had 1 carry in the second half.
1 carry in the second half.
1 carry.
Well, now I feel like a jerk off because I'm the one who's been calling for a passing game. And when I say these things, I think there's some level of balance that can automatically be applied by a common sense perspective. And now we have 6 carries to Saquon Barkley in an entire football game. 1 carry in the second half.
1 carry in the second half.
And you're leading going into the fourth quarter. How do you even have that?
And I'll tell you what, man, if you really want to know about stretching the ball down the field, boy, that Eagle team, man, I'll tell you, they struggle by by being a little bit more creative. It is just not a very creative offense, man. It became so predictable by the second half. Man. And then for the play calling to get away. Dude, how do you not give Barkley 1 carry in the second half? How's that possible? And then your defense gives up 18 points in the second half to that offense.
In the fourth quarter, man. Fourth quarter, all in the fourth quarter.
That offense, would we consider that offense to be lesser than the Rams? That offense is not a proficient offense, is it? That's a very average offense with very average names. And they put up 18 points in the fourth quarter on Vic Fangio. Holy cow, did Sean Payton coach the shit out of Vic in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, Bo Nix was 24-39 in this game, 242, a touchdown, 2 sacks for 14 yards. He was solid in that second half. There's no doubt about it. He got the best of it. Big Sills, quarterback one for the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts, 23 of 38 today, 280, 2 touchdowns, 6 sacks, 23 yards. Grade the performance today. What'd you see out there from Jalen today?
The only reason that they were in this ball game is because the quarterback played as good as he did. I mean, Jalen played another good football game. This really comes down on, get this, think about this. Jalen played well, right? The components around him. Barkley,
second half, it didn't feel like Jalen played well in the second half.
Listen, I thought he kept them in that ball game, dude. Without him, what else did you have? You had no run game. You're limited in your play calling. Dude, this came down, in my opinion, to situational play calling, too. How many 3 and outs did they have in the second half? Boom, out, boom, out, boom, out.
Great. Yeah, and the other one wasn't only 5 plays, so.
Dude, they were stealing possessions in the second half with the Broncos. Man, and I'm going to say it again, dude, because I saw people tweeting at me, and I did it for a reason. I know I saw Jalen run out of bounds for those 2 sacks, and I went right there. You know what's going to happen? They're going to force him to run right, which they did, and then they were going to always have him on the run, defending half the football field to the right. That was a design by Vance Joseph. And in the end of the game, he ended up taking 6 sacks. 6 sacks, dude. At the end of the game, all minus yardage. I'd like to know how much in sacks those minus yardage were, because it had to be like 50 yards. And let me see down here the number and what he took in sacks. He took 23 yards, 6 sacks for 23 yards. You think they'd like to have had those 23 yards somewhere in the game? Dude, those are all minus plays there. I don't know, man.
Look, I know the Broncos did a good job today against the run.
4 sacks. Obviously. If you don't want to count those 2, 4 sacks today.
I get that the Broncos did a good job today against the run with Saquon Barkley, but I don't get how you lead a game for 3 quarters of the game.
Conservative.
Your running back has 6 carries. Like, even if he's not running the ball well, he should have more carries than that.
And if you looked at it, if I'm not mistaken, I thought he had 5 yards of carry. I mean,
no,
he only carries the football. He had 5 yards.
Yeah, 5 yards of carry. Yeah,
he had 5 yards.
I think he had 1 for 17 yards, and then he had 5 for 13 on the other 5.
Okay, so I mean,
that's part of it. I mean, you get
he's the home run hitter, Zander.
Right, I know.
He's going to get 3, 4, 5, and then 18. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He's a home run hitter. For them to abandon the run game like that, for a team that is built on the run game. Okay, so they went to the pass with everybody. I don't think anybody in here is talking like this. Hey, we want to have 40 attempts in passing. I think people are just looking at this. I don't know, 25 passing attempts, maybe 28 rushing attempts, have a little balance in the football game, so you can keep people at bay, put people asleep. The big problem, and we mentioned it, I don't know how many times, the difference with this team in a year ago, you can't put anybody away. Think about this. You couldn't put the 2-2 Broncos away. The 2-2 Broncos on the road by almost 3,000 miles at 2-2 roll in, and they end up coming back 15 down with 5:30 left in the third quarter, and they end up coming back to beat you. That's crazy, dude. Crazy. I really, coaching, player accountability in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, those defensive guys have to have a come-to-Jesus conversation, man.
I don't get why they're so inconsistent from half to half. It almost feels like a guarantee.
Because they're not a play calling offensive coordinator that's going to have the balance. Did you see balance with Sean Payton? Sean Payton was the balance coordinator in that game with lesser talent, right?
Yeah, he absolutely
was. Look at the attempts. They had 29 rushing attempts, and Bo Nix had 39 passing attempts. Why can't the Eagles do that? I mean, the Eagles were nowhere near that. Their main guy had 6 carries. A guy a year ago at 2,005 rushing yards. Hey, Zander, I said he'd have less than 1,400 yards. I'm starting to think he may have less than 1,200 yards this year.
I just don't get why there's no ability to have any sort of balance in this game. But again, I'm the one who called for the passing game. I'm happy to eat my crow on the postgame show here today. They come out, throw 38 times. Jalen Hurts has his 280 yards passing in the game, and we lose the game. Like, again, sometimes you got to boil it down. Sometimes you got to look yourself. I've been calling for more balance. I've been calling for them to throw the ball more. Well, we're 0-1 when we throw the ball a lot this year. We're 4-0 when we don't. I feel like an asshole.
I feel like doing something that Jalen likes to do. Well, is that what you want to see?
No.
Is that what you want to see?
Because this is why
AJ's going to have AJ has to answer, and he will answer for this because people will ask, okay, we threw the ball more and it cost us to lose.
Right.
You guys wanted the ball in the air so much, and now the ball was in the air and they didn't run the ball. If you're Saquon Barkley, don't you have a complaint? Hey, we won all those games a year ago. We got to the Super Bowl with one way. Right. Now we're reverting back. And get this, Zander, you lost a football game without any turnovers. And you lost a football game without creating a turnover to the Broncos. That ain't a world beater in the AFC, dude. And they came into your building and beat you.
I'll tell you what, that's a signature win for them.
Oh, by far. Oh, my God, that's a signature win for Bo Nix.
Jalen Hurts
beating the undefeated defending champs on the road? Yeah, I think so.
How big of a problem is this A.J. Brown stuff, Sills? Giving up on routes and stuff like that when you got a C on your chest after, obviously, what happened last week. How big of a concern is it for you? Is it just caught in the moment? How do you see it as a former player?
Absolutely. I keep asking the questions to you and John. How do you think – remember I asked John even – how do you think all the noise is going to affect the football team going into Sunday? And here we go again. Now it's going to be a litany of questions today, tomorrow, and all next week. You did exactly what we wanted, AJ, and it cost us an L. Your mentality of winning ball games is an L compared to the winning formula that we had here. And what I don't like is, did the coaches relent and want to throw the ball more instead of getting away from the formula? That's poor coaching. Stick to what made you great, dude. They could not get a run game. I said it on the pregame. Whoever wins the rushing attack will win the football game, and Denver dominated at the point of attack. How many yards rushing did the Eagles end up in this football game with? I mean, it wasn't a lot.
Rushing yards total, 45 yards. Dylan had 12. Saquon had 30. Jalen had 3. Will Shipley had a carry for 0 yards. 11 carries for 45 total rushing yards in this football game for the Eagles offense.
And Denver had 130 on 29 carries at 4.5 a carry.
Dude, Denver ran 70 plays. They ran 70 plays.
Bro, but they held you to 55.
And so you said something before the game. They play they're like a young version of the Eagles team. You're kind of right. That's how they played today. Balanced, dominated the clock, made their move late, and capitalized.
No turnovers.
No turnovers.
This is the 2021 Eagles. Is what you're looking at with Denver. Okay? They are building their team exactly the way you guys are. Remember I said in the pregame too, Zander, you're almost playing a mirror of yourselves in this game here today. And it turned out to be that way. But I'm telling you, Sean Payton had the better hand in the fourth quarter on Vic. This was the first time Vic's guys let him down. I don't think Vic's scheme let him down. I think the players got beat. Sutton made some big plays. The tight end made some plays. Hey, dude, the running back was running hard in the second half for the Broncos, and Bo Nix protected the football, dude. I mean, that was a pretty good – I thought they really had a good –
Nix got you're right. Bo Nix got the better of Vic Fangio in the second half. There's no doubt about it.
And Sean put him into – but look at the difference in play calling between Sean putting Bo Nix in a position to win and Patullo not putting Jalen Hurts in a position not to win. That's what it looked like to me in that game. Now, again, player accountability, player responsibility, all of that. There were a lot of drop passes out there on both sides of the football, but they dominated the Eagles in the second half of that game, dude. I mean, this is like the third time that I've seen a half where they've been dominated. I mean, Zander, dominated. Look at 2 of 11 on third down, too. That was another one.
What'd you think of Keely Ringo today, Sills? He had 6 targets on him, 4 receptions for 55 yards, 3 first downs allowed today. I thought he was spotty. What'd you make of Keely Ringo today? By the way, I'll say this, and we're going to talk about Ringo because obviously it was one of his early games here, and he's been a story. But Quinyon Mitchell wasn't great today. But go ahead with Keely Ringo.
Quinyon Mitchell in the first half, I thought was lights out. I thought in the second half, and he ended up getting some plays made on him. I'll say it again, Zander. The corners that they have over at the right side there with Dory Jackson and with Keely Ringo, these guys are such a fall off from Rodgers and Slay that were over there last year. It is so noticeable. And you know what's going to happen? I thought Sean Payton started finding that side of the football field and started going over there more. More teams are going to start to see that as they game plan further going against you. And hey, I'm telling you, man, that kid Dart's not that bad. I'm not saying in this next game coming up here that the Giants are going to be any kind of problem for the Eagles, but boy, I didn't think Bo Nix was spectacular in that game. But I'll tell you, he made efficient plays on third down. He moved the sticks. They got some help with some officiating, I thought, in the game. I don't like going there either. I think that's always an excuse. But, bro, I think that play calling by the Eagles on that side of the ball, I'm going to disagree with anybody who says that why can't you have any kind of balance? And when someone comes out and says this, and I know what people are going to say, the game predicated whether or not you go to running the ball or not. Dude, the game was fucking tied. I mean, you don't have to sit there and panic and get away from your run game. Zander, like when you're down with the Rams, that's one thing to get down and throw the ball a lot and get away from the run game because you're down 14 points. You were up all the way until the fourth quarter, dude. You didn't have to get away. Saquon Barkley had 1 freaking carry in the second half. 1 carry, $2,000.
It's crazy.
The offensive player of the year had 1 carry in the second half.
Crazy.
Absolutely not acceptable.
I just gave you the numbers on Keely Ringo here, and for just to give you guys the full look at it, Quinyon Mitchell today versus the Broncos had 9 targets on him, 6 receptions, 81 yards, 5 first downs allowed with 1 pass breakup. So I mentioned Ringo wasn't great, but Quinyon might have been worse today. Unfortunately, they picked on him, and I'm wondering if he's over. He's a great player. I'm not trying to say he's not a great player, but at some point you're going to get beat. Cortland Sutton had his way with him in the fourth quarter.
He did.
Got to tip your cap too. I mean, look, you're playing versus great players. Cortland Sutton had a great fourth quarter there, but Quinyon got beat up.
He did, and also I would make the point that Sean Payton had a brilliant call second half. And you know what he did, Zander? When that thing was, what was it, 10-3 at half? What was it, 10-3, 17-3? What was the halftime?
10-3 at halftime, and then they scored in the opening drive to Saquon Barkley.
When it was 10-3 at half, I said, this is a Denver game. Because Denver wants the ball. They want the low score. They can't have high score because that means the Eagles are having their way with them defensively. And that led into Denver's game. Now, when they came out, you're like, wow, they're just going to start stepping on the gas. But they couldn't put them away. Why? They can't run the ball right now. That offensive line, Zander, and Jeff Stoutland's guys, this is the worst I've seen Jeff Stoutland's offensive line in 4 years. Maybe all these injuries, maybe the age, maybe all that is starting to catch up. I told you this. Maybe you and I talked about it. Maybe we said that Landon Dickerson should shit a couple of games out here the next couple of weeks to get himself healthy for the stretch run down the line. He can't finish ball games, dude.
Yeah, he's struggling, man. It might have been better that he didn't finish it up today. We got a bunch of super chats. We're going to get to all of them. I want to thank James Carter for 50. We got a bunch of you guys, so we'll get to all super chats in a second here. Big Sills, here we are now, and I want to try and bring this all together with the conversation that we've had. And again, I've said I'll eat my plate of crow today, but offensively now, we lose the game. We have a bigger offensive output when it comes to the passing game, which many of us wanted, me included. Again, I'm wrong on that, clearly, as evidence now proves or shows for the time being. And we're complaining again. So it's like we pass the ball and we lose the game. Is the best way for this team to legitimately just be one of the worst passing teams in football? I mean, it really might be.
Well, I said they wouldn't do anything different, and they did. And It cost them. Why would they come out of a 20-1 way of winning ball games? You had it in hand. You had the game in your hand. You had complete control of the game. It was 17-3, dude. It was in complete control at home. You had everything. All you had to do was start running the football. Even Hurts getting in RPOs. What did they do? 3 and outs, 2 of 11 on third down. You started giving possessions back to Denver. Hoss, I mean, they're incapable of running any kind of balanced attack. They just refuse. You're either running it a lot or you're throwing it a lot. And most of the time, when you throw it a lot, I'd like to know this stat, Zander. How many times in the last 20 games how many wins have you had with Jalen Hurts throwing the ball over 35 times?
I don't know what the stat is, but you're right. It'd be interesting to find out, but I don't know what it is at the top here.
Because that game looked like to me like the first 4 games like you played a year ago.
So did they listen to AJ? Do you think that's why do you think they did this? Or, I mean, the Broncos were good against the run today. I do think you have to add that in. I mean, they were a good team against the run. Now, I don't think you have to abandon it to the tune of 6 runs, but.
No, I do. I think that they were down low in the past.
You think they listened to AJ, though?
Of course they did. I think they took into account also DeVonta. Dude, all those guys, I mean, they got targets today.
Well, I'll tell you what, DeVonta Smith looks like a wide receiver. It looks more than capable of being wide receiver number 1, if you're asking me. I mean, he looked like a stud early in the year here.
I got it, but having that guy on the other side, dude, I'm not.
No, I know that. I know that.
If you put Jahan Dotson over there and you got DeVonta over there, I'm not worried about Dotson.
The only thing I'm worried about, though, well, that was a hell of a that play in the first half, though, that was ruled out of bounds. That was a great throw by Jalen Hurts and a great catch by Jahan Dotson, just a smidge out of bounds. But, with A.J. Brown, I mentioned the only thing I'm upset about him today. I mean, you can't take plays off, and I think he got in a little bit of a habit of taking plays off because he knew the ball was never coming to him. And then when the ball actually does come to him and you stop running and then you leave your quarterback out high and dry, that looked like it was going to be a perfect ball, running in for a touchdown. And A.J. Brown just pulled up on the route early. Then he tried to go get it and couldn't get there. I mean, I thought that was a bad play, man. That was
in the fourth quarter. The Broncos had 159 yards in offense, 18 points, and the Eagles had 22 yards of offense in the fourth quarter. 22 yards of total offense in the fourth quarter to hold the game off. 22. They were outgained 160 yards to 22 in the fourth quarter. Holy cow. Did they get stymied and shut down by Vance Joseph? They were just completely outcoached in that game. On both sides of the football. Dude, you had a 15-point lead with 5 minutes left. I mean, in the third. Now the conversation's going to go back to, all right, so we tried to go with throwing the ball more. Now do we go back to running the ball? Don't you? I mean, you talk about identity. You talk about identity problems. How about the offensive coordinator?
But remember, we can't fall into the trap.
The offensive coordinator doesn't have an identity.
I know that, but we also can't fall into the trap that we ran the ball well in the first 4 games. We can't just forget that for a second. We haven't been running the football well either. So that's a continuation.
Yeah, but that's been their approach.
I know it has, and I'm sure they're going to go back to that. But I think first things in order, you got to get that offensive line healthier, man, because they're not the same offensive line.
They are not, and I think Cam Jurgens too. I mean, I'm not just putting it on Landon too. I'm putting it on Cam. How about Dean getting caught down the field too? Those are hard. Those pass plays like that. They caught him down the field because, as Tony Romo said in the broadcast, his number one objective is to try to get onto the second level. That was a critical play in that thing because you guys had gained a good gain on that one. It was a first down, I believe. Then they had to come back. Legal man downfield. I mean, it's just not very creative, dude.
No, it's really not.
It is just not a very good and creative offense.
No, it's not at all. We're going to have John McMullen joining the show here in a little bit. He'll be talking to doing the post-game press conferences, with the head coach, the quarterback, and some other guys who speak after the game. And then we will speak to John here on the post-game show. We will get to all super chats as well, so appreciate everybody for checking in. We'll start with James Carver, $50. Thanks, everybody, for all the great super chats. You guys help keep us on the air. So big thanks to everybody today. The Birds dropped their first game of 2025. I'll give you guys real quick. I give you guys two positives here on this loss. And I know it's tough to do, and not everybody wants to think about it like that. If you're going to drop a game, dropping a game to an AFC team is always a much preferred thing to do when you're battling for seeding and battling for playoff positioning. All right, so you lose to an AFC team. I'd much rather lose here than lose to an NFC opponent. And then number two, if you think back to last year, and I don't want to compare it exactly, but the loss is ultimately the catalyst point for the Eagles to really find their identity, stick to their identity, and go off and running. Perhaps you have a moment here where a loss in the game or loss early in the year allows everybody to have the come to Jesus conversation. Maybe for A.J. Brown, it's shut up about targets. Maybe for the offensive line, it's we got to be better. Maybe for Kevin Patullo, it's I got to be more bound. Whatever the come to Jesus conversation is, depending on what player you're talking about, maybe this is the catalyst for them to all have it and find their rhythm here as we move into week number 6 coming up. The Eagles have a quick week, Thursday night game versus the New York Football Giants in New York at MetLife Field. Let's go to James Carver. James, $50 super chat. Thank you, brother. That's a banger. He says, the experiments at right guard. Steen's all right at pass blocking, but horrible at run blocking. Cornerback 2, Ringo's only a special teamer. An edge, everyone's development. Hunt's the only acceptable one. Free agency vets are all underperforming, and Saquon won't rock until Fred replaces Steen. You think Fred on the inside, though, James? I don't think they're moving Fred to the inside.
Okay, Zander. So you said that about those guys. Maybe this is something that they're going to have a come to Jesus conversation, and maybe they're going to also find themselves here. Well, let me give you the other side of that. Just like when you guys were 9-0, and I'm not saying this is any kind of meltdown. Maybe other coordinators have caught up with you because of your predictability and that you can't call a balanced attack. You were beaten by a football team. What would you say that roster is? The Broncos. I mean, in the AFC, what would you say? 10? 8? Best roster in the AFC, maybe?
I don't know. They got good offensive line, defensive line.
Okay, do you think that team's going to make noise in the playoffs?
I think they have a chance. They made the playoffs last year, first year Bo Nix. But to your point, they're not supposed to be the Super Bowl contender.
No, that's not a premium team. It's a good team. I'm not taking anything away from them. Remember, they were probably the most balanced team you played to date. Do you not agree? They weren't great on offense. They were really good on defense. They were well coached. They weren't really spectacular at anything except the edge guys, right? And Surtain. They came in, they were probably Dallas. Look, Dallas has got the number 1 offense in the NFL and the number 32nd ranked defense. Kansas City's all over the board because of their wideouts. They're trying to get their footing now. The Rams are probably another one of those teams that have great balance. I'd say the Rams are a little bit better. By the way, it just shows you. The Rams, they get beat the other night by a limited San Francisco team. Don't go to sleep on Sundays, dude. You don't – this Philadelphia Eagle team's margin of error is not what it was a year ago. You're not going into any game blowing anybody out. And I know everybody's expecting that. Bro, we've now gone to 5 games, right? We kind of getting a sense of where we are. Now, will they shift a different gear and all of a sudden become a balanced attack? I don't believe so. They haven't been balanced in 2 years.
Today was the first game I really said they are not. They look poorly coached today because of the lack of discipline, the penalties, the pre-snap penalty stills were just crazy, man. I mean, you can't run that's part of the offensive, lack of execution though in that second half. You just have such timely penalty. The Broncos actually had way more penalties in the game and way more penalty yardage in the game, probably largely attributed to the pass interferences down the field, but still. The Eagles had super timely penalties in that game. That was one of the first times where I think you can honestly say coaching was really bad in that game in terms of just having the guys ready. A lot of coaching.
Like I said, I thought Vic was okay in the first half. I thought he
No,
was.
I'm not saying Vic. I'm saying just as a team. You know, when you have a team that takes a lot of penalties, that typically means they're not being coached to be disciplined in the approach. At least that was what I was taught. James Carver, your response to James, you talked about Steen as a pass blocker versus a run blocker, and then also Ringo only being a special teamer.
Keely Ringo struggled today. Zander, they're finding him. They're now finding him. I could make an argument that last week, because of what everyone said that the Bucs didn't do by going at Ringo, I think you're going to see more of that. I think you're going to see teams now identifying the weakness on the team. It's taken a couple weeks to find him, and they're going to go to him. Listen, this is where you are with him. This is what you got with Adoree Jackson and him. How'd you think the pass rush was today for the Eagles?
Well, that first half they had some good approach. That stunt move with Jalen Carter where Zadarius Smith got the 13-yard sack. That was a massive play to knock him out of field goal range. But the second half, I mean, I thought the Broncos' approach mitigated perfectly.
How about the D tackle play by both Carter and Davis in the middle today?
Not noticeably dominant or anything like that. How about you?
I thought the ends were hurting them. I don't really think they ran a lot of zone runs in the middle.
Rory was solid today.
You're getting beat on the edges, though. Dude, they ran 130 yards. I mean, you're giving up 130 yards a game on the run right now. And then to combine that, in the second half, Bo Nix was able to throw for 242 yards in the ball game, too. Dude, I thought the kid Dobbins, man, ran hard for that 80 yards. Sutton was good. He had about almost.
He's a good player, man. Dobbins is a good player.
Dude, that one kid had 2.5 sacks in the ball game. Fonga had like 7 tackles in the game. I thought he played well. I thought he got beat. It was really a tough football game between both those guys.
Jack's right about this, too. 5 pre-snap penalties. Denver had plus 9 minutes in time of possession. Eagles defense, they were gassed. Now, they didn't have a good fourth quarter, but you're right 100%, Jack. They were completely gassed. Offense couldn't move the ball much at all in the second half. Let's go to some other super chats. Big Marsh, thank you, brother. We got beat at our own game. We didn't lose. We got beat up. Clear indictment on Crybaby Brown's philosophy of winning. I'll say it again. He has to go. Defense was on the field way too long.
Wore him out in the second half, didn't it? Denver continuing to run the ball the way they did. I think it softened them up in the second half, Zander, and they got them in the fourth. They were able to sustain drives, running the football, and the 3-and-outs ended up hurting them. Hey, I'll tell you this. If that offense continues to go the way it is with those 3-and-outs, and you're not going to get any kind of consistency, your defense is going to start going the other way like it did in 23. I'm not predicting meltdown, but look what happened just in this game. They got worn down in the second half.
Yeah, you're right. Matt says, why did they get away from the RPO? It was eating Denver alive. They were using it in the first half very successfully. Lanes were opening up for Saquon Barkley. Jalen Hurts was making them pay with it, and then they get away from it. They really struggle with any sort of balance, Sills. It's very odd. It's very odd.
I think the one successful play,
being a first-year play caller,
the one successful play that he had in the game, Jalen audibled out of it, and it was the touchdown throw. So I mean, they struggle, Zander, like we said, man, in any kind of offensive balance. Remember, I asked you that question on Friday. Okay, well. Will we see some balance in this game? And I kept saying, absolutely not. They're not capable of it. They weren't capable of it a year ago. The running attack has exposed the team being limited as a one-dimensional football team. And the one dimension that you won games with a year ago, Zander, you're right. You could throw for 300 yards today, and you're going to lose. But the one dimension that you had a year ago, bro, you're putting 140 yards a game up on the board. And Barkley makes every coordinator nervous. And everything that we all said in the offseason was going to happen, they did it. They're stopping Barkley. Remember what was the one thing you said to me? Well, they're going to have to win games a different way, right? They're incapable of winning games a different way.
Yeah, but when they went to the different ways, the only time they lost, I mean, they won all the other games, even as ugly as they looked. This is why I don't think they lost the game today because they passed the football. I really don't. But at the end of the day, when you
boil lost the game because they had no balance.
Right. Well, the common denominator, though, I mean, the common denominators are, show you that when they run the ball and it's ugly and whatever, they win games.
They win.
They don't win like this. If it's unbalanced this way, they don't win.
What'd you think of Nick in the game today?
Sirianni, I mean, I think some of those. I think when you have a team that takes as many flags as they did today, especially pre-snap, your head coach has to take some level of responsibility for that. But it's tough. It's tough to go at Nick though when you're off. I mean, when they have as many 3 and outs again in the second half, when you don't move the ball, you put your coaches in a tough spot. You put your defense in a tough spot. It's tough to coach. Game manage around that, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. What did you make of Nick?
Well, he's in charge of in-game adjustments when it comes to either go and play zone or run the ball or whatever. And then that's up to Patullo to be able to fill in the blank. Let's run the ball here. Let's get a running game going here. Let's see if we can get some play action. Let's get some RPOs. Doesn't it seem cookie cutter to you? You're either doing this or you're doing that. You're not doing both.
Yeah. It's too much. There's no doubt about it. It's too much. And again, I've been on these shows. All right. Right here. It's all archived. You can go and pull them up. I've been saying let's pass the ball more. I might have to zip the lips, take the zipper and throw it in the trash can. JD3 checks in. AJ better be smiling ear to ear. He had his shots and gave up on some. Got what he wanted. Better be happy tweets all week. Man, they're going to be coming for AJ this week, Sills.
Absolutely, they're going to, because he's going to be the one that threw up and said, hey, okay, everyone get their yards. Let's get the passing game going. DeVonta said it yesterday. Okay, so you know what Jalen Hurts and the coach are going to say? All right, well, we went down that lane and we threw the ball and we ended up losing. Doesn't this also validate the way that they were winning games? If you're Kevin Patullo and Nick, don't you do this? I don't want to hear that shit again out of anybody, because we're going to go back. You have the New York Giants coming up. I'm not going to keep the Giants in a ball game throwing the ball. I'm going to run the ball at the New York Giants. I mean, go back to doing whatever. You look so boring in the game. I get it. But that also wins games. How do you think Jalen Hurts played?
I didn't think he played that great in the second half. I mean, I thought he worked his way around. I think he made some big-time throws in the football game. Again, I do agree with you where, while there is things to criticize Jalen for, the other thing you have to put in there when you discuss Jalen is he makes a lot of shit happen, too, for the ineptitude of the offense at times. And you got to give him credit for that. But I didn't think it was his best game. Certainly not. I mean, some of those 3 and out, some of those sacks, I think, are – he just is kind of a duck in the pocket at times, but I don't know, man. It's tough to pinpoint and blame on this thing. It really is. A lot of people, look, you have your litany of people. Half the people in the chat say it's all Jalen Hurts. He sucks. Half the people say it has nothing to do with Jalen Hurts. It's Kevin Patullo. Everybody wants to argue about who it is. I think it's a combination of all of them. I really do.
How do you think he does in the pocket handling pressure?
Not great. That's never been his number one thing. I mean, that's always been. Look, every player has their tendencies. Jalen doesn't thrive in that environment as opposed to how he thrives outside the pocket or when a play.
And then he rolls right.
Right, so and he rolls right or whatever he does.
2 things are predictable. He kind of struggles in the pocket a little bit with pressure, and when he does see the pressure, he rolls right. If you're a coordinator, don't you know? Don't you set your defenses to that also? That you know what his tendencies are since his entire career. I thought Vance Joseph had a brilliant game called against Kevin Patullo. He coached his pants off too in that ball game. Dude, Denver's a lesser talent. That's a lesser talented football team than you. How are they hanging around with you?
No doubt. There's no doubt. Cortland Sutton looked good today.
Would you not agree that may have been one of the lesser talented teams next to the Cowboys?
Well, I don't know. Anytime you have a team coming in.
So you think they're better in Kansas City?
Well, I didn't say that, but I do say I don't want to put them in the box of like not a brutally talented team. When you have a good offensive line and a good defensive line, I think you can win games in the NFL.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just go. Do you think they're have a better talent as an overall 53 than the Rams?
No.
Okay. Kansas City?
Comparable.
Except for the quarterback.
Quarterback. I'm going to give Reed the nod there too because he does such a good job with his quarterback.
Okay. I mean, you look at the Cowboys, probably better than the Cowboys. I would say they're better than the Cowboys there. You think they got more talent 53 wise than the Bucks?
The Bucks of last week, yeah. The Bucks overall, probably not.
Okay. So my point is, you should have had your way with this team, don't you think? Especially when you're up 15.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to fall too much into that because it's the NFL, and any given game, you can drop one, and they have good, talented players too. But
you were up 15.
I know. The point you're trying to make, at least I think, is that we're a Super Bowl contender. That team is not, and they beat us up today.
Yeah. A lesser team beat you up at home, which I haven't seen in 4 years. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I've seen it since Jalen's rookie year.
Here's
a team went into your building and beat you up.
Here's Tyler. I've been saying since the beginning of the season that not playing in Tyler 4 quarters is going to catch up with them, and all I ever heard was shut up day one. Well, here we are. Well, Tyler, you're right, my friend.
They still haven't they have not played a fourth.
Tyler, it's one of those things that we can finally say you were right, but you really don't want to be right, Tyler.
No.
Now the Eagles lost.
That's right. You don't want to listen. No, you're right, though, Tyler. They have not. I wonder if they're capable of playing 4 quarters. I mean, you see, guys in the media don't want to blame the coaching staff. And they don't want to go after the coaching staff. They want to always go on the players because it's easier to go on the players. Well, what's the coaching staff's accountability in this? What do you think the coaching staff's accountability is? What would you say, Zander? Coach's accountability in how about this? The inability to be able to have balanced offense and have a smooth operation. How much do you put on the coaches here?
50%. Is that a fair number?
Little high.
Little high. I thought it was high too.
Little high. Probably 35% of that has to be those guys. Putting the players in position, and then on the other end, you have to have players execute, okay? You really do. I didn't think the special teams for the Eagles was all that bad. I thought they were pretty decent in the football game. I didn't think anything. You didn't get a chance to really use Elliott all that much. I thought the punter was okay. I mean, Zander, they just got out-coached and beat up in the second half. And I can't believe they scratched and crawled. You don't lose games like this.
You're right. It's rare that we lose a close game like this and we don't
to a team like that.
Yeah. Christopher Darker checks in. What's up, Christopher? This is a coaching problem. AJ is a problem. He gave up on that route. That would have been a walk-in touchdown. Too many drive-killing penalties. Agreed on that. Bad call on Bond. Thought it was an iffy call. Perfect throw by Hurts to Goddard, and the refs let him get tackled. Yeah, Christopher, I'm not holding my hat on that one, man. We could have put that game away a lot earlier than the final 20 seconds of the game. I'm sorry, but we could have.
What's the excuse for only running the ball and only running Barkley six times, you think they're going to use?
I don't think there is an excuse, but I think they're going to all, again, this is where they might have those conversations where, AJ, I know you want the football, but at the end of the day, you got to let us do what we think is best to win football games, because they were doing that before that and it was working. And then now we can get away from what they do.
Why would they get away from what they do? They just they had the lead.
Well, because let's be real, they were winning by the skin of their teeth. It's not like they weren't.
Yeah, but then what would propel you to do something different? When you're winning by small margins, Zander, anything you do is going to manipulate that margin.
But isn't the Eagles' offense so much more capable than they're showing, or were showing? Like, wasn't
you've been telling me this now for 2 years that you think this offense is more capable.
I know. It's true.
For 2 years, everyone in Philly's been telling me that they're capable of more. Are they? Every time I say the quarterback's limited in the pocket, you know what I get? I'm a Jalen Hurts hater. Well, I'll tell you what, dude. There's a reason they can't have balance. What is it? What's the reasoning?
Yeah.
Help me out here. I mean, I'll take anything on why they can't have balance.
Yeah, I mean, the tough part about the conversation today, well, the balance, it almost feels like it's never going to come, no matter which way it is.
I agree.
Feels like it's a lost cause. But I will say, we talked about the passing game, and maybe we shouldn't be trying to call for it. But again, I will point to the 4 wins this year, not the 17 wins from last season that everybody keeps lumping in with this year. It's a new football team this year. we haven't really won any of the games yet this year because of the offense. So I know you start to throw the ball and you lose the game, but at the end of the day, what bit the team today? Was it the offense passing, or was it the inconsistency of the offense, the 3-and-outs again in the second half, and putting all that pressure on your defense, and they finally buckled?
Let me ask you this. Does this loss today question that 4-0 record?
No, not particularly, because I think the Eagles have enough of a track record.
You lost to a lesser team.
Yeah, but you lose games in the NFL. We've gotten so used to not losing games.
I would have got if you lost the Rams game or the Chiefs. Not that. Dude, people were telling me 30-17. People were telling me blowout. This is a breakout game for everybody. I mean, Zander, this was the team that was supposed to be served up after all the shit that went down. Everyone kept giving the team the benefit of the doubt. AJ got the benefit. The coaching staff got the benefit. Everyone, the defense got the benefit. And you know what? The Super Bowl benefit is the honeymoon. Hey, honey, I know where you are now. You know what? Here we go. We're going to start our life. You're right. This is a completely different football team here now, dude. I mean, we're looking at a team with zero margin. They didn't turn the ball over and lost.
So you think we're a fraud 4-1?
No. I only asked you the question. What does it put any question on your mind, that 4-0 record? What it does for me is it makes me go, the margins are smaller than I thought. I still think you have the championship pedigree. I don't think that you're not still the team. By the way, you know what that loss does to me also? Zander, I don't think that you're still not the team to beat in the NFC. Do you?
No, we're the team to beat, no doubt. Still the team to beat.
If that doesn't change that notion,
you're talking about the Rams. The Rams are 3-2. They just dropped a game. Who'd they just drop a game to? The freaking 49ers led by Mac Jones.
Dude, that doesn't change my opinion.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't really agree with you that the Broncos are this bad of an opponent.
They're not. They're
not. They do have
I said they were lesser of the opponents you have played.
They're certainly lesser than where the Eagles have been, yes, but they are a formidable team. I mean, they're a solid team. They got.
I heard people say blowout this week.
I thought so. I mean, I changed it on the postgame or the pregame show.
I'll tell you what, nobody this week thought that the Eagles were going to blow out the Rams or blow out the Bucks. You thought you were going to blow this because this was a lesser team in the AFC. I never said they're a bad team. I said they were more of a balanced team than any team you might have played this year, too, by the way. They're just not overly loaded with great talent. They are a mirror of you. They're the 2021 Philadelphia Eagles, dude. They beat you playing Eagle ball. How did they get back in the game? Timely third down passing, running the football, playing great defense. Gee, who's that sound like, Zander? And they had great coaching. Dude, Vance Joseph outcoached Nick and Patullo.
Within a game, Bo Nix can play. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. If you put the right system around him, he manages games well. You got to give him the credit. He does.
If that defense is one of the defenses that you're going to put up and say that that's going to be a team down the line that's going to win a Super Bowl, and Bo Nix came down from 15 points and beat you at home on the road, you bet your ass you can go far with that guy. If that guy doesn't turn the ball over, Zander, you can go far with that guy.
No doubt. No doubt. A couple more super chats we'll get to here. Appreciate everybody for checking in today. Naz, what's up, brother? Many missed opportunities. They called back that sideline pass to Dotson. No points, illegal shift that called back the fourth down to DeVonta Smith. False starts, too many drive killers that stagnate momentum. Agreed 100%.
They completely had a sloppy football game today. I mean, it was just a sloppy game, and it got sloppier in the second half.
That illegal shift was tough because that was a beautiful throw to DeVonta Smith.
Dude, the O-line is not very good. I mean, really, they ranked them third?
Yeah, they don't look like it to me.
Boy, I'll tell you what, man. They're not even playing like a top 5 O-line right now. There's no way that's a good-looking O-line right now. They're getting beat up. The Broncos would you not say the Broncos won that up front? The Bronco defense won up front today, don't you think?
I mean, I have to go back and look at the tape, but when you look at the numbers, it certainly looks like it. I mean, we ran the ball for 45 yards today. Obviously, the numbers would say that the Broncos D line won the day from that perspective.
And they turned you into a one-dimensional team?
Here's West Philly. He says, man, this guy Sills is crazy. The Broncos lost 2 games in the last seconds. The Broncos are good, and we had too many penalties. You can't win them all. We're fine.
Okay, who did you beat again? Tennessee and who else? What Zander said to me on Friday? Are you really going to put that out there and try to tell me that the Broncos have in their 2 wins were against quality opponents? Come on, guys. Let's not blow up the Broncos. I think they're a good team, and they're a well-coached team. Zander, they're going to make the playoffs. They're a good team. But let's not get crazy and go, they're going to be in the NFC Championship game or one of the Final 4 teams that's going to be there at the end.
No, they're not.
They may well be. They may get better. I don't know, but I don't know, man. I just don't see a lot of skilled superstars on that side of the football for them to be able to make an impact and go into Kansas City and beat Kansas City, or to go into a place like Buffalo and beat Buffalo. I don't believe that.
No doubt. West Philly, appreciate the super chat, brother. We got a bunch more that we're going to get to here today. Naz, again, what's up, Naz? Jalen should have had like 350 yards if those pass conversions didn't get called back and AJ didn't stop his route. There was a missed PI in the end. We have no run game left. Too much meat on the bone. I agree. What'd you think of that PI late in the game? It obviously did look like a PI.
Say that again?
The pass interference on Goddard at the end there.
I didn't think I thought that was not the push off. Is that what you're talking about? The push off on Goddard?
No. It was when they were in the last minute when they were trying to get the ball down to the goal line and they aired it up to Goddard and we wanted to call the pass interference, but
you're not getting that call even at home late in the game. You're not getting.
Yeah, they're not going to put you down.
They're not going to give the game away like that unless it's completely egregious. Let me just say this, Sander, on both sides of the ball, there was a lot of grabbing out there. And listen, I know what you guys want me to say, and I will say it. It was a poorly officiated football game.
No doubt. Naz, appreciate the super chat, brother. Appreciate everybody for checking in here. Let me get to we'll get to all super chats today. Vulnerable Vitality says, players giving up on plays. Defense laid a stinker from exhaustion, no doubt. Knuckle dragging refs can each eat it. Vulnerable Alabama, Missouri, coming up this week, my friend.
Boy, I'll tell you, man, that second half, I couldn't believe that Vic's team was out of gas like that. They just got ran off the football field, dude. That Bronco O-line beat them up, that front seven. Don't you think that? I do. I mean, they took them out in the second. They do.
I mean, look, it already dictates that they do. And then, yes, we will do a giveaway, all right? Jalen did throw for over 275, so that means we're giving away a jersey here on JAKIB Sports. All my biggest haters, come on! The water is fine, everybody.
Oh, my God.
Including you, Garden Snake Cobra. All right, here we go. Corey says, really feel like Patullo is great at building and running a script, but horrible at in-game adjustments. That's fair.
Yes. Okay. Here's AJ. He would comment after the game. AJ Brown says he didn't see Jalen Hurts pump fake or hitch. AJ said he just didn't see the ball at first. He says then he just missed. AJ was asked if he spoke to Jalen after, and he said, no comment. Whoa! I tell you, here we go. God dang it. This is going to be a fun week on JAKIB, boss.
Every week's a fun week on JAKIB.
Hey, no. I can't wait to hear how this thing's going to play out because he's going to take heat. Okay, there were almost 40 attempts in this football game, and they compromised Barkley. They put Barkley in the tool shed and said, you know what? Let's put Barkley in that Howie Roseman closet for
Here's Jalen Hurts' quote after the game today, everybody. Jalen Hurts at the podium says, I can't tell you what the issue is. Ultimately, I can take accountability for everything and take responsibility for it all. The lack of execution, the lack of the sense of urgency, I take responsibility for all of it, and I'm just trying to find solutions for it. Good professional answer there for Jalen Hurts.
A 4-1 team, boy, they sound miserable.
Well, when you strive for, I tell you what, anybody that strives for greatness in any realm in life, get on board. It's a miserable life. That's the truth. When you strive for greatness, Sills, in anything, it's miserable to do it.
That team had a lot of fun last year when they played. A lot of energy on that side.
I don't know about that. I think you're remembering the parade float. Before the parade float, it wasn't like that, my friend.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this, that 2023 team, that was a lot of miserable souls that went 11-6 that day. When they left Tampa Bay, that was one miserable football team. We shall see.
Do you think we're at a crossroads with the desire of what Kevin Patullo potentially wants to do and the skill set of the quarterback?
I think the offensive coordinator knows the skill set of the quarterback. I think the head coach does too. And I think they're limited. I keep telling you guys this. They're limited at what they can do offensively. How many times is John going to tell you this? You guys are expecting some sort of like epiphany where he's going to do some great things consistently. That's not what that quarterback does. And by the way, don't be upset with what I said. He's found ways to be able to win different styles every week, different ways. He's one of the only quarterbacks in the league that can do that. But if you're looking for this high-powered, greatest show on turf, you're never going to see that. You're just not. Zander, they're not capable of balance, or they would do it. What game, like I said, I thought the first half, I was pleasantly surprised. AJ had like 30. DeVonta had like 60-some yards. Hurts had like 100 and some odd yards passing. I kind of saw it a little bit. You know, Barkley had like 30-some odd yards rushing. You saw a little balance, and all of a sudden, man, second half, and they even went up and got away from the run game. How do you go away? Get this. Think of the mentality you did in the second half. Zander, follow me along here. So the objective is when you're up 15 is to try to burn the clock and run them off the scoreboard with the
100%.
time, right?
First downs, exactly. Kill the clock.
So instead of doing that, they decided to throw the ball more and not burn the clock?
I
not
don't
use the run game?
That's why I don't understand how you get
How do you get there? How'd you get there with
it'd be one thing if we were losing the whole game. Obviously, you're trying to get back into the thing. You're not going to run the football. You're going to pass the ball to try and make chunk plays and get back into the game. They were winning the game until the fourth quarter.
Again, how do you get away? Look, man, I don't know what the answers are here except for they're not doing it. We could sit here, all of us are sitting here going like this. Why do you think they can't? I think they can. I think they can go here. I think they can do this. I have not seen it. Why do you guys consistently think they're going to do it when they don't want to do balance?
Here we go. We got some more supers. Let's get to them. Josh Herman says, Jalen had 6 sacks this game. He's a bum. And Nick should take notes from Sean Payton on how to coach. Not that he'll learn anything. Bums, one and all. Holy Josh. Josh, pump the brakes, bro.
Josh, your football team's 4-1. I'd hang in there with bums.
Josh, those two are responsible for the most successful run in Eagles history. Let's pump the brakes a little bit, all right? I don't know if they're bums, one and all.
I'll tell you what, though, dude. 6 sacks is a lot.
Here's Byron Pumper. He says, Tanner, I told y'all Jalen Hurts is a bum. Here we go.
Again, Zander, say you want to take those 2 out. 4 sacks in this game?
Yeah, and they weren't good sacks. That's the problem with them. Jalen thrown for 30 passes, not a good thing. I told y'all he's a bum. Brian Pumper is ready to cook. I'm sure you are, Brian Pumper. It's like a Christmas party for you. Junior said it's not an overreaction. They can't run at all. He's right. They can't.
You think
Deshae becomes a member? Deshae, thank you, bro. I know you've been waiting to do that. Thank you, my man.
Jason, so you think it's Barkley or Barkley and the O-line? Or do you just think it's the O-line? Or the old line, Barkley, and the play caller.
I think
Why can't they run it?
Is it a little bit of all of them? I mean, Saquon doesn't look like he lost a step to me. Does he look like he lost a step to you?
Nope.
So where do you put it at, percentage-wise?
I put it on the philosophy of what you want to do. And I also put it on how they abandon it once they're behind or – wait a minute. Let me take that. They weren't behind.
Sometimes I think we love to point the blame of like offensive line or the play caller. And I agree that certainly some of it falls there. But what about some of it falling on defenses have adjusted to the Philadelphia Eagles? It's all on tape. You know what happened last year. The Super Bowl was on tape. You know what the Cowboys did in week 1, what the Chiefs did in week 2, what the Bucs did in week 4. You know what the Rams did in week 3. It's all on tape. people learn from that tape. I think we sometimes, leave out that the other team is game planning to stop what we're doing as well. I think they did it better than us today.
I got to tell you, man, I think that O-line's getting old.
Who? Lane Johnson's the only one over 30. Tyler Sneed, a first-year starter. Landon Dickerson's 27.
Hey, I'm going to tell you how. Injuries age you like a dog, dude.
Injuries and just running the football age you more.
And going deep into the playoffs ages you more. I think I'll take that back. Not old. Tired. Don't you think they look tired in the second half when they're running the ball? I'll take that back. You're right. Not old. They just look tired. Like they're getting beat, dude. I mean, they're just getting beat.
What's the number one problem the Eagles have right now? Sitting at 4-1 again. I don't want to overstate it. They are 4-1. They're in good shape. It's running the ball.
It's running the ball.
I'm looking at a tweet here on.
And I think it's defending the run.
It says a lot of problems with the Eagles right now, but Kevin Patullo is far and away the number one. Do you agree with that?
How do we know that Kevin Patullo is not being told to do and stay in the formula of how John McMullen says every single day on Birds 365, your show? He is being told because of the philosophy of what they want to do. They're not coming out of their identity. How much do you think, if Jalen Hurts has a straitjacket on, how much do you think Kevin Patullo has a straitjacket on? I think it's both of that, dude. I think this comes down to how you are as a philosophy. How come you can't create balance?
All right, let me ask you this then. What would be your opinion on how the Eagles should approach games in the coming weeks for the rest of the year? What should the identity they should be striving for? You and John have told me I'm off base when it comes to passing. I guess I'll right now, for now, I'll submit and say I'm wrong on that. What is your approach? What would be your approach or your opinion about this football team to go into each games and win games?
I want Jalen Hurts involved more in the run game.
The Broncos took away that today successfully.
I want Jalen Hurts to make those guys fear that he's going to get out in the perimeter. When he's out in the perimeter, he is without a doubt a weapon. Hurts has to be more versatile. Like you said today, one of the reasons why Denver had such a good game called by Vance Joseph, they pinned him in, didn't they? Those edge rushers may not have gotten home, 100%. But what did they do? They kept him in the box, didn't they?
Absolutely, they did.
And they did not allow him to get out. So in theory, Zander, those edge rushers did their job today by keeping him one-dimensional because teams think that guy's not going to win. He may win a Super Bowl. You're damn right. But he's not going to win week in and week out being a consistent quarterback. One, they don't call plays for it. And secondly, the quarterback's not capable of it.
Let's keep rolling here. We got some super chats. We'll get to them all. Appreciate everybody. Jason Gates says, I'm a little bit shocked after that, but we got to clean up the penalties. They killed us, but props to the Broncos and 4-1, not too shabby. There you go, Jason. Good take. Brian Pumper again. Pumper is admittedly, or I'm sure happily, riding around on his horse today because he's been calling for a loss. Brian Pumper says, I better see some accountability for Jalen Hurts.
He did.
This guy changed a lot of plays on the line of scrimmage. He thinks he's a better QB than he is. He's not him.
You know what? I'll tell you this. You're not winning ball games without that guy today. You're not in ball games. And I got to say it one more time, dude. Are they putting him in great positions to be able to win? If he's got audible out of all these plays in the second half, I don't know. They're not. I tell you, will we not all agree? They're just not on the same page with one another right now. Pump, they're not on the same page.
They're not.
They're not.
Balance, question mark. The offense hasn't been consistently balanced. Penalties, stalled drives, and dumb penalties. They were bad penalties. There's no doubt. But I don't know. What do you want to do, Orbit? You want to blame the whole game? We had 17-3 lead. There were so many different moments of that game that we could have taken it, and managed and took control, and we didn't. I'm not blaming them on the penalties. Philly Don says, that non-call at the end of the game to Dallas was BS. That was definitely a pass interference. It was, but
you're not going to get that call late in the game like that. You're just not. I don't care, even at home. You're not going to get that. How about the 2 of 11 on third down? What do you make of that?
Yeah, brutal. I mean, that's brutal. That's a big part of the game. I'm surprised we haven't mentioned it. What was the What was the time of possession today? Do you have that in front of you?
I do.
34 minutes for Denver, 25 for the Birds.
Correct.
34.
Here's the key numbers too, man. Get this. The Eagles got no turnovers. They didn't turn the ball over, and they allowed a team like Denver to come from behind and beat you and run you off the clock. You see that number there, Zander, that's 70-55? Look at that there, man. I mean, if you think about it, look how many more opportunities you had in drives for you to be able to get back into a football game. Look at all the 3 and outs there. When you see 70 plays, usually teams are around 60-65. And when you're holding a team under 60 and you're holding them to the mid-50s like that, I don't care what the score is. You're going to get back into football games. And when you're doing it 5 yards a clip per play offensively, and you run the ball 30 times in the ball game, 30-11, and you get 130 yards. As I said, whoever won the running title in this football game, whoever had the most rushing yards was going to win the game, and that's how it played out.
Absolutely it is. Kimberly says the other shoe dropped. I think we needed it. Unfortunately, you're right. Gary says the Eagles gave the game away with penalties, but Goddard was interfered with on the last drive. Maddening. I know a lot of people are going to go to that one, but Dirty Air says this is a good take here. And Dirty Air, I ate my crow on this in the first hour. He said, dare I say we lost trying to force the ball through the air. Not enough second half runs. This is what everyone wanted, right? It's tough to deny that he's right.
But Zander, you didn't want it with 6 rushes for Barkley.
Yeah, I know. But again, I can't
But
add that context now.
But wait a minute, though. You weren't sitting there saying take the runs and take the run game away to get the passing game going, were you? I know you weren't doing that. You were looking at more like what? 30-some-odd passes, 25-some-odd yard carries, right? Get a little balance.
This is what I don't get. Like, it's simple as that. How do you run the ball 6 times when you have a 2-touchdown lead? Like in what world are we living in?
And you're trying to kill the clock.
Like, I don't even care about the production.
Had 1 carry, folks, in the second half.
Yeah, it's just weird. It really is. Dirty Air, thanks for the super, brother. Big Marsh said, this showed me one thing. The Eagles can either pass or run. They're not creative enough to be balanced. That's a play calling problem. Too many 3 and outs.
Remember, I told you.
Here, Big Marsh said, let me ask this. Does Jalen have the autonomy at the line of scrimmage or not? And do you direct any of that at Jalen if he checks or chooses to not check at the line of scrimmage? Because if he has that autonomy, it has to be a joint effort by him in the play call. At least in my opinion, it would be.
I think he does.
And if he does have that autonomy, then I think he deserves still some of the blame naturally just from having that autonomy.
Well, who said he can read defenses great yet? He's still learning.
He's gotten better, but I guess you're right that he hasn't figured it out.
Dude, he still has a problem with pressure.
He does. And zones. Zones give him fits. Sean says, Hurts gave him a chance to win at the end. He put the ball right in AJ and Smitty's hands. AJ caused it to fall out. I saw that. I don't know about that, dude. There was like 20 hands up there. Vulnerable Vitality says, team has to flush this. Giants on Thursday, and they are feeling themselves. Giants lost today, I thought.
Did they? I thought they came back and won. Did they?
I thought the Giants lost today. Let me look. I know Dart had a good start. They lost to the Saints today.
Oh, yeah, 27. That's right.
They're 1-4.
Crazy.
Vulnerable. I don't know what you're watching, but I don't know how much you're feeling yourself after the Saints win their first game of the year on you, and Spencer Rattler goes for 230, 225 and a tutty. And I don't know about that. Jackson Dart was 26 of 40 for 202, 2 touchdowns and 2 picks today. Welcome to the NFL, young man.
Gary put up 335 yards in total offense, but again, the Saints are not a very good football team.
Yeah. Gary says the Eagles better get their shit together, no doubt. Christopher, we got that one. Thanks, Christopher. Matt says, why did they get away from the RPO? We got that one. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Appreciate all these super chats. Be pumped. It's not can't run the ball. We just didn't run the football. Jalen Hurts hero ball dooms us again.
Do you think this is the worst loss in 2 years?
No.
Okay, what loss a year ago was worse?
Falcons' loss was brutal. The Bucs' loss was brutal last year. I mean, we didn't have a loss last year.
The Bucs were a playoff team, though, at least.
Yeah, but that was a tough loss in Philly. That was a bad loss. They played awful.
Okay.
Probably the Falcons' loss that Saquon dropped.
Okay. All right.
This wasn't a good one, though. I mean, when you have so few losses and you don't have a lot to pick from.
I could have swore I heard people talking blowout in this game. I mean, I heard blowout.
Yeah, but who cares? I mean, everybody talks everything, you know. This is what it is. Well, a shooter says, they're coming from the king of talk.
No, I'm just like, I was like, okay.
The legitimate king of talking is
I said 31-21 blowout. I thought it was going to be a blowout.
Shooter says, laugh at Belichick all you want, but he would have had AJ gone by now, and you would keep winning. Howie's player empowerment doesn't work forever.
To that either. I'm not getting AJ.
Me neither. Feed him 1, 2, 3 says, we lost mainly due to penalties. Landon Dickerson's replacement with a big one in the 4th and 3 elite. That was who was that on? They called it on Saquon, I think.
Yeah, they did. They called it on Saquon. Bro, the depth of this O-line is not very good.
No, it's really not. It's really not. Khaled says, Eagles have superstars on the offense. There's no excuse for that piece of shit I just watched. And unlike 21, we don't have a Shane to fall back on.
Bro, there is no excuses for this.
Penn says, I think Zander is exaggerating about DeVonta Smith being wide receiver 1.
He
had a great game, but would be the same look. I didn't say he was 1 on this team. I said I think he's capable of being a 1, though.
You put him
Jalen
on
seems to be looking for him early this year.
Yeah, well, you put him on KC. DeVonta Smith gets 1,500 yards a year.
Yeah. Here's Brody. What's up, Brody? Same message since 21. Jalen Hurts has harsh limitations as a passer.
Yes.
You don't win as a passing team with him at quarterback.
Correct.
Proof is in the pudding since 21. Bad sacks, ball never out on time. Year 6, by the way.
Absolutely. Brody, fantastic post, and thank you for the super. I've been saying this since day one. They did a nice job a year ago because they had Barkley. And remember what I told you guys a year ago. They didn't improve the offense. They improved the offense by signing Barkley. That's it. There was nothing else. And Becton. Outside of that, they did nothing. They ran the ball.
Here's West Philly says, what quarterback doesn't have problems with pressure, even Mahomes? How about Tom Brady, West Philly? It's a better one. His 3 Super Bowls he lost were because of pressure. Super Bowl example. You're right.
Yeah, but those guys throw the ball 700 times a year, too.
Here's Caleb. He says, I don't know the money situation, but no Becton, Rodgers, and Slay hurts. I agree.
Absolutely. You felt that today for sure. And all of those positions.
Absolutely. Matt says, our O-line looks like a boat taking on water. Lincoln pressures every snap. The moment Saquon touches the ball, there are free runners in his face, and our center play has been quietly awful. It's not so quiet anymore, Matt NJ. He looks terrible. Cam Jurgens is not the same guy right now.
They are getting beat interior-wise. They really are. I mean, I didn't realize Denver had, I'm not even sure Denver is that stout inside, but it's been Dallas. It's been KC. Now they got Chris Jones. I get it. The Rams have a good defensive line. I didn't realize Denver had a great interior D tackles because I thought they owned the game again for 4 quarters.
Let me get to my guy, Robert. Robert, I got you, brother. Thank you, man, for the super chat. He says, Robert, what's up, brother? Robert Alessandrini. I like that name. It's a Paisano name there. This is like the home loss to Atlanta last season. Too many key players lost this past offseason. CJ, Sweat, and Slay. I agree. Atlanta loss is a good comp. That was the Saquon drop loss.
Yeah, but I think this Denver team's actually going to go on to be somebody, whereas Atlanta was a nobody a year ago. Like I think Denver's going to win 19 games this year.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean they're better than Atlanta. You're right, Tanner.
How many games?
That lost a year ago. Would they win a year ago? 6, 7?
No, Denver. They made the playoffs last year.
No, I'm talking Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta. Yeah, they were bad last year. They benched
Cousins. It is. You're right. That's a worse loss in the last 2 years. Was that loss?
Here's Clove. What's up, Clove? With all that said, seems like ultimately the O-line is the biggest issue. Without the ability to consistently running the ball, nothing else flows. I think you're right, Clove. I think you're right, man.
It's the total offensive line and the depth of the offensive line. The guys coming in now, Zander, they're sieves. That kid he is freaking awful, man.
I mean, look, though, how many – at some point, you're not – it's the NFL. You're not going to have players that are like starting caliber every time.
No, you're not going to continue that gravy train like that for year in and year out because those guys are just not going to – I mean, you're right.
Here's Matt says, our O-line looks like a boat taking on water, leaking pressure every snap. The moment Saquon – oh, we already got that one. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, man. Clove, thank you, brother. Hammond says, do we need CJ's tenacity and play? I don't think that's the issue. Hangry says, tired and no depth to let the starters heal and rest. Yeah, we got a short week this week.
Man, I just can't believe they did not run the ball with the lead. What's the excuse for not running the ball with the lead? Help me. Dude, the number one topic of conversation will be, why did you run the ball with the lead? You scored did they score in the opening drive in the second half?
Yeah, first drive. That's when they got the ball.
Why do you not run the ball in the second half? You had the lead. Did they just surrender it because they thought that they were injured too much in the O-line? That's what we're going to have to wait for, John. Is that why they got away? Why did you get away from it? Why does Barkley have one? Did you see they were trying to get Barkley the ball in the passing game? They were trying to get him because for some reason,
they got a touchdown out of it, a good one at that.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons that they had to, I think, maybe because what? They lost faith in the offensive line.
All right, what good do you take of this if you're the Eagles in the locker room today?
That you played your worst game that you've played in a while. And you were right there at the end, bud. I'll tell you, what you don't like is that a team came back on you. Bo Nix came back on you, and you were outcoached by really good coaches that put their players in situations, didn't turn the ball over, and how undisciplined you were. I mean, what's the takeaway? What, that you threw the ball more and lost?
Well, I think from a positive perspective, trying to find some positives from it. I mean,
okay,
we had a lot of plays out there that if they executed them, they could have had big plays, in the air. You had that AJ play, you had the Dotson play. There were some big plays out there that they left on the field today. And if you can convert some of those, you might be looking at a different outcome. So from a positive perspective, just saying, you execute those, you might be looking at a different outcome, Yeah.
Same way the Rams probably did the same thing. They said if we blocked it on special teams, that field goal's not blocked and we execute and we score. Or if Kelsey catches the pass in the end zone in Kansas City. So you're right. Or CD catches the passes. Is that what we're talking about here? Okay. There's always a way to look at it. I'm not saying you're wrong either, because you have to come out of it with positives.
Yeah, no doubt. Kimberly says, D, where are we going to be on Thanksgiving Day float? Kimberly, I don't know if we're hitting any floats this year. Hangry says, they need more games to figure out balance. And yes, it's a student driver in the Lambo. He's worse than a student driver.
Dude, he's in training wheels.
Training wheels.
He's a training wheels coordinator.
Coyote says, if Eagles had a guy like Dallas quarterback, why? So we throw 400 and lose in the first round? West Philly says,
doing well,
every game is my point. We'll bounce back against the Giants. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
Lucian says, people have been questioning Hurts' leadership all week. The man just went to the press conference and took the blame. Lucius, I'm not it's podium talk, brother. I don't give a shit about podium talk. Morris says, did anyone notice the disinterested look on Hurts' face in the fourth quarter? No emotion whatsoever. We're closer to 0-4 than 4-0. Well, the record would say you're wrong, but
No. Hurts is a weirdo. I don't take anything by his body language. Could never have been able to take it, but I will keep to my guns on this. He's a company man.
Yeah,
he's a company man. He's going to answer company questions.
Hogan says, mistake play, injured player, short week at MetLife. We'll say. Philly Eagles says, offensive side of the ball is doing a poor job at making second half adjustments. They just can't move the ball in the second half, and it's killing the defense. It is killing the defense.
You mean in-game adjustments? Second half, okay, in-game adjustments. Yeah. Well, look what they do. Explain to me again. Why did you get away from running the ball with the lead? You're trying to kill the clock. You've got the team dead. Where would you start throwing passes to get the team on the other side series? Zander, every time you get a 3 and out, that's a stolen series by Denver. They must have took 5 or 6 series to get back in the game. They had no right to get back in that ball game. No right. There were no turnovers. Think about that, dude. When you're sitting there as a team and you're in your team meeting on Monday, do you know what your coach is going to do to you? It's like, we surrendered. You had no turnovers. You didn't turn the ball over. You didn't create any turnovers. They just ran themselves back in the game because they did not run the ball. They didn't play situational football in that second half. Do you understand how flawed this is? You're up all those points and you're winning the game, and you get away from a 2,000-yard running back to throw the ball, stop the clock. When you do that, you're giving them multiple timeouts. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, tough loss today for the Philadelphia Eagles. They lose 21-17. They moved to 4-1 on the year. They'll now have some competitors there at the top of the NFC. The 49ers are actually 4-1 as well. I think that's the only other 4-1 team in the NFC. I'd have to double check on that one. They lose 21-17 today. 18 unanswered Denver Bronco fourth quarter points to come back and win the game today. 70 total plays for the Broncos. They beat us in just about every category today, Big Sills. So
wouldn't you say this of the 5 games that you played so far, this was the least expected loss of all the teams you were going to play?
Well,
first 5.
Least expected.
Yeah.
Probably
that
Dallas
would beat
week
you.
1. Probably Dallas week 1. Nobody thought we were losing.
You thought Dallas would beat them in week 1?
No, I didn't think they would.
Yeah, I mean, Denver's probably the only team that you would win. Well, that's a win.
No, Dallas, I said that's a win.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Opposite of what you thought I said.
Yeah, I didn't think Denver would beat the Eagles. No way.
Here's Harv. See, I don't feel this. Harv says this is eerily giving me 23 feeling. Seems like even years are when we win and look good.
To Harv's point, though, you did surrender 18 points in the 4th.
Yeah, but the defense is struggling because of the offense not moving.
Okay. Well, isn't that what happened in 23? The offense started getting 3 and outs. And on top of that, they weren't able to run the football, right? So, I mean, dude. Holy cow.
Here comes John. We're going to have John McMullen here in just a second. Appreciate everybody for being here today on the post-game show. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, all the super chats. I will get to all of them. If there's anybody I missed.
DeVonta just said we're not on the same page.
What's that?
DeVonta just said we're not on the same page.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that's obvious at this point. Warfighter says the Eagles game plan to make AJ happy instead of game planning to beat the Broncos. You think they did that today?
Say that again, please.
You think they did that today? Eagles game plan to make AJ happy instead of game planning to beat the Broncos.
Well, that would lead you to believe why they got away from the run game in the second half, that they wanted to air the ball out more. Zander, you air the ball out more like you did against the Rams when you're behind, not ahead. Why would you put a team and a Sean Payton team to get them back into the game? I mean, why would you do that? Why would you get them and allow them to get back in a football game by getting away from the running attack? I'm telling you, when Kevin Patullo has to answer on Tuesday, I can't wait to have the question asked, why'd you stop running the ball in the second half? Barkley had 6 carries the entire ball game. This guy had 400 fucking carries last year, dude. And you gave him the ball 6 times. And he averaged 5 yards a carry in the game.
Yep. No doubt about it. We got John McMullen, and we're going to have John by phone. The Eagles are having internet issues today, everybody. Come on, Eagles. Get the internet worked out. We got John McMullen joining us right here by phone. Johnny Mac, we got you with us, brother. John, are you there? Nope, we lost John for a second. Let's see if we can get back in. I had him at halftime. It was perfect. So the phone should work. Just give us a couple seconds.
It's like calling a sub when you are there at financial.
Is there any collusion? They lose the game today, and the Eagles cut out everybody's Wi-Fi. Nobody can do a report from the game because they're cut out everybody's.
So this is like Trump's teleprompter. Is that what this is?
Maybe. J Mac, we got you with us, brother?
Yeah, you got me. That one was my fault. I forgot to switch off the Wi-Fi to the 5G. So that one, I'll take the hit for that one.
All right, so don't put it on the Eagles, John. The team that did take a hit today is the Eagles. They dropped their first game of the year, 21-17. John, 18 unanswered fourth quarter points for the Denver Broncos. John, just walk me through your initial thought process, man. They lose the game today, first time in a while. We've said that.
Yeah, you got to go back to, I think it was December 22nd, 2024. And I think, if for a game that Jalen started and finished, this is the first loss in 19 games. So you have to go all the way back to Tampa in September of last year. So it's been over a calendar year. Kind of a shock to the system because, they were doing such a good job. Not necessarily offensively. It shifted a little bit. The passing game was a little bit better, but they only ran the football I think Saquon only ran it 6 times, but the inconsistencies there continued to show. But they were doing a really good job confusing, I thought, Bo Nix. They were tremendous getting off the field on third down. So for me, it was more on, like what happened on the defensive side of the football than anything else. And that really surprised me. And, I'm so conditioned to this team winning. You're thinking, oh, they're just the new way they're going to win is the Hail Mary at the end of the game. And then it falls incomplete and they actually lost the football game. So certainly, it's a game they should have won. You go in up 2 touchdowns against a team that has 3 points in the fourth quarter. Yeah, you got to get out of there with a win. So, we talk about the Eagles in a lot of ways, and some of these games being a tale of 2 halves. For the Broncos, it was a tale of 3 quarters and 1 quarter. I mean, they were just pathetic offensively for most of the day, and all of a sudden, get a couple first downs, a little tempo, a couple penalties went their way. And please, I know there's going to be big penalty talk today. I mean, to their credit, the Eagles are like, yeah, I mean, there's some ticky-tack calls. There's some calls that can go either way, but you shouldn't be in that position. When you're getting, in the second drive, not the final drive, but the penultimate drive of the Eagles offensively, they had those 2 penalties. Saquon Barkley got caught because he didn't set, and Tyler Steen was downfield, and those are things and they were both penalties, and those are things that are easily correctable, and it was just sloppy football from the Eagles.
John, 159 yards of total offense for Denver in the fourth. The Eagles had 22. And with 18 points, they end up surrendering. My question to you is, they score immediately coming out of the half. You've got that lead. Why Barkley only 1 carry in the second half when you have the lead? And as you just got through saying, John, they were limited in the first half. The Eagle defense did a great job at confusing him. They were not able to have any consistency on offense whatsoever. And what do the Eagles do? They start throwing the ball a little bit more in the second half. They start getting 3 and outs on third down. They were 2 of 11. I mean, what was the thinking process of Barkley only having 1 carry in the second half?
Well, I think the thinking process was they claim they don't hear the outside noise, but they heard the outside noise, and they were hyper-focused on getting the football to A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith, and you see what happened. They both played well. But if you combine them, it was the 18 targets and 13 receptions. So, and DeVonta was over 100, had the big 52-yard gain. It could have been better. AJ was open for a deep shot, and Jalen just completely overthrew him. Could have been, but so they played well. But this is an example of, you don't want Jalen Hurts thrown it 38 times.
No way.
I mean, that's not the formula you want. And I have to go back to look the last time he threw it that many times. I haven't, I just got back. I haven't done that yet. But that's not Saquon Barkley, I think you have to go back to the game he was injured for when he last ran it 6 times or less. So, I mean, yeah, you have Saquon Barkley, he's got to run it more. And he did average 5 yards per carry. That was my bold prediction. He'd average 5 yards a carry. So he did get that. But he had that 17-yard run, which was his longest run of the year. I thought that was important. And yeah, for whatever reason, I think they succumbed to the outside noise. They will never admit it, but they succumbed to the outside noise to get the receivers involved, and they did. And I'm not saying that's the reason they lost the game, but the bottom line is they lost the game because it was effective, and the defense deserves a lot of that in the fourth quarter. So it's not like that's the reason they lost the game, but they moved the football. Again, that second to last drive, they were moving the football, and it was the 2 penalties where they shoot themselves in the foot. And then even on the last drive, when you have 66 seconds to work with, they got down to the 29-yard line. They had 2 shots in the end zone. So, they moved the football, but This is not their formula for winning.
John, is that the takeaway from today, that people like me who've been calling for a better passing game have egg on their face a little bit, and I will eat the proverbial crow today because for the first time Jalen has his 280, and here we are, John, with a loss on the scoreboard. Is that the takeaway from today? Stop trying.
No, because I think Jalen played pretty well. He didn't turn it over. I think I don't think you have egg on your face for Senna, because I think the defense blew this game. You're up 17-3. I mean, you'd like more. You'd like to take advantage of more of the opportunities. You know, if he hits the deep shot to AJ, the game's over. So there are things they want back, and certainly the penalties. But no, I don't think that's the reason they lost the game. I think the reason they lost the game is all of a sudden, for whatever reason, they couldn't stop Denver after doing it for 3 quarters, and they just went down the field, bang, bang. A lot of it was Cortland Sutton, who's a very good player. Again, I always point out that, and he's a beast when it comes to the back shoulder stuff. He is just a big physical guy, and he's very much like A.J. Brown. If it's a 50-50 ball, he makes it 70-30. And it almost came to that desperation scenario for Bo Nix, where it's like, all right, I'm just going to throw it to Cortland, and he's coming down with it. But definitely to me, it's defensively. Anytime you give up 3 points and then you give up a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter, you're scratching your head as to what went wrong.
John, real quick, your thoughts on the A.J. Brown play that looked like he gave up. John, earlier, I do think there's been some moments this year where A.J. gives up on routes early because he knows he's not getting the football, or maybe is upset with how much he's gotten the football. Obviously, the frustrations have boiled over, as he put it, so far this year. Is that a play where it bit him, John? He didn't think the ball was coming to him. He let up on the route, and the ball was there. And if he kept running, he probably would have had 6.
You're talking about the deep shot? Yeah,
Yep.
I have to see it again, to be honest, because all I saw was the end of the play, and he was open and the ball was overthrown. So I don't know if earlier in the play he stopped running. I have to watch it again, to be honest. All I saw was him wide open and the ball going over his head. So I don't know if earlier in the route maybe he wasn't going full speed, and maybe that explains it. Because it wasn't close. So certainly, if that's what you guys saw, I'm not dismissing it. I for whatever, maybe I had my head down, writing something else. I don't know. But I saw the end of the play, and the end of the play was AJ was wide open and it was overthrown. So, and typically, I mean, obviously, one of the biggest strengths of Jalen Hurts is the deep throw. And that one wasn't close. And certainly it could have been partially AJ's fault as well.
John, I'll put this one here. They surrender 4 sacks, 2 obviously running out of bounds. They ran the ball only for 45 yards in the football game. And on the other end, the Denver Broncos ran the ball for 130. I mean, both sides of the football lost this game. Denver won the line of scrimmages in this game, and that was one of the telling factors too. They ended up wearing them out by the end of the football game in the fourth quarter. Tells you all you really need to know. I mean, look at the numbers here. Look at the trends. I mean, they took sacks. They couldn't run the ball. Denver was able to run the ball. Denver got back in the game by running the football. And at the line of scrimmage, I mean, where they're struggling right now, Landon obviously being hurt and out. I mean, Cam's not been Cam. And I don't know, John, they're just not really playing well on the offensive line, but I thought the defensive line, too, giving up nearly 5 yards a carry again, got them back in the football game. Denver was doing nothing. But when they started throwing the ball in the second half, they started stealing possessions because the clock stopped.
Yeah, I think if you like Bo had a couple runs, which is more of obviously off-schedule stuff, which pumps up that average. At JK, I think averaged about 4 yards a carry, which is acceptable, certainly. I would say Vic's going to make that trade. I think Harvey was at 3 yards a carry. So if you're talking about the running backs, the traditional run game, I thought they were fine from that perspective. Denver has a great offensive line, comparatively speaking, to many of the other teams in the NFL. So From that standpoint, I don't think it was egregious. And that sacks, like as you mentioned, a couple of them are Jalen running and he steps out of bounds for a 2-yard loss, and he has a 1-yard loss, or it might have been a stopped at the line of scrimmage, and that counts as a sack. So I think they were fine from that perspective. Now Brett Toth had to come in, and he got called for a big holding call. And obviously there's a downgrade from Landon Dickerson, even the way he's playing to Brett Toth. But now you're talking, and it was an ankle for Landon. So now you're talking about knee, back, ankle, short week. I would hope that they sit him, but who knows how that's going to be. So, yeah, I mean, hey, the Chargers, I think, are playing right now. They lost Joe Alt for 4 to 6 weeks. They already lost Rashawn Slater for the entire year. I know poor Carson Wentz had to deal with four or five, I think, offensive linemen down today. So this is not an Eagle-centric problem. This is a league-wide problem. But yeah, anytime they lose one of their top-tier linemen, there's a downtick. And I think the biggest problem was Brett Toth getting called for that holding. But it's going to happen when you have backup offensive linemen in there.
No doubt. Johnny Mac, I'm going to push back on one thing here. And just you mentioned the defense. And obviously the defense didn't have a good second half, and they fell apart almost completely in the fourth quarter with 18 unanswered Denver points. But between the Saquon touchdown drive, which was the first drive of the second half for the Eagles, and the final drive where they tried to come back and win it, and they got up to the 28 or 26 or whatever they got up to. They had 14 plays across 4 drives that resulted in 3 yards. 3 of them were 3 and outs, and the drive that wasn't a 3 and out was 5 total plays for 23 yards. All 4 of those drives resulted in a punt. Does that not put so much pressure on your defense, John, that eventually they're going to buckle? I mean, is it fair to point to the defense and say they were the bigger issue today, but the offense, made their life that much harder? How do you see that part of it?
Well, no, I mean, that's been going on all year. I mean, they had 5 3 and outs in a row, I think, in Tampa. So that's why, I did say early, the inconsistency continues. It definitely continues. I'm not trying to say it's not having an impact. I thought it had a greater impact in other games that the Eagles actually won. I'm just saying when you're up 17-3 in the fourth quarter, and you dominated on third down, and you look like you have the young quarterback confused, you as a defense have to finish that. And a lot of it was just, I always talk about the circumstance of the game. The circumstance was, all right, it's desperation time. Let me just throw it up to Cortland Sutton. And sometimes you got to tip your cap to the other team as well, because they have good players. And Cortland Sutton's one of those guys. I don't know how many of his receptions were in the fourth quarter. I haven't checked that out yet, but a whole heap of them were. I know that, and most of the big ones were. And they were just throwing back shoulders and throwing it up to him, and he was coming down with it. And he's a heck of a player. And some of them were even on Quinyon. So, I know a lot of people want to criticize, but he had 2 catches in the first half. And he ended up, I think, for 8 for 99 or something like that. He was just making big play after big play in the fourth quarter. And maybe you can look at Vic Fangio. We don't often criticize Vic Fangio. I certainly don't. But maybe you have to switch things up and say, all right, they're really focused on Cortland Sutton. Let's bracket him and let's make somebody else beat me, basically. Which is what I think you got to pull that lever probably a little bit more quickly. But, he's got such confidence in Quinyon Mitchell at this point. It's like, sometimes you got to even help your good players.
Hey, John, do you think they're getting the plays in on time?
No. No. But I think that's a league-wide problem as well. Now, I think the Eagles are, because I see it. I see it. You watch other games, and everybody's down at the bottom and delay games all over the place, especially with younger quarterbacks. But the Eagles have a veteran unit. That big Saquon Barkley shift where he didn't get set and it was a legal shift, and got called back 5 yards. That was because they were up against the clock and they were trying to hurry because they were going to get a delay game. So, and all of a sudden he can't stop and he can't set, and you get the illegal shift, and a big play gets called back. So, yeah, they got to be quicker. Everybody knows it. Jordan Mailata's been talking about it. Jalen Hurts talked about it today. They got to be quicker getting to the line of scrimmage. But that is truly a league-wide problem, and that is about the coaching staff. But I think everybody wants to blame that on Kevin Patullo getting in the plays late. That's not necessarily – I'm not saying that that's not part of the problem, but that's not necessarily the only problem. Because from that point, you got to get the personnel right. You got to get the play called. You got to kill the play from run to pass or pass to run. And you're taking the 2 down to the clock, and all of a sudden Saquon Barkley, you have motion on, and Saquon Barkley doesn't enough time to set. And bang, you get a 5-yard penalty. That really affects you. So,
John, did you think it was a poorly officiated game today? I know I'm not using that as an excuse for why we lost, just in general, like officiating. Poorly called or no problem with it?
Well, I think I got to watch it again, but I will tell you, to a man, to their credit, nobody was complaining about it. Nobody was using that as a crutch. So I like that. To me, it was definitely over officiated.
21 penalties, John.
Yeah.
21, and more of them went on Denver, by the way.
Yeah, a lot more of them.
Far more. And certainly yardage, far more yardage, almost 2-1. It might have been over 2-1. I got to look.
Yeah, it was. It was like 120 to 55, I believe,
Yeah,
John. I'll get you the exact number.
By no means. I know, Birds 365. I know I've already started getting it on X and all the social media. The officials this, the officials that. They called 121 yards of penalties on the Denver Broncos.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, guys.
No, I really wasn't asking, John, as an excuse. I was more just asking. Like, there is a general way to evaluate.
Well,
officials.
it's over legislated.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll always say it's over legislated. I know everybody's upset about the picked up calls, particularly the grounding penalty they picked up. Look, I'm telling you right away, I said that's not grounding. I mean, it was in the county of the receiver in the flat.
Yep.
And that's what Zach Ballin said, to his credit. And Zach got screwed with the late hit, but to his credit, he was asked about that play, and he said, well, the tight end was in the flat. So, I mean, yeah, on TV it seems ridiculous, but that's how they call the game. And that was a bang, the illegal roughness, which really killed him. That was the penalty that really hurt on Zach Ballin.
Yeah.
That was a tick late, but I mean, I don't think it should have been a penalty, but
Agreed.
Again, to his credit, he did not use it as an excuse. And, you have to understand. I always compare it to baseball home plate umpire, like the smart players. And I think Quinyon Mitchell did this in Tampa last week. He said, all right, they're letting us play. I can grab a jersey. They're letting us play. And today, Quinyon got caught for that, grabbing the jersey. So you have to sort of feel the officials on that day and sort of like a strike zone, figure out what they're going to allow and figure out what they aren't going to allow. And you got to adjust to it as best you can.
Johnny Mac, final question for me, brother. Appreciate you being here today. Birds lose their first game of the year, 4-1. It's a two-pronged final question for you, John. What did you learn about the Philadelphia Eagles today? And what did the Eagles learn about the Philadelphia Eagles today?
I learned that they can lose a football game. So I was starting to wonder. But in all seriousness, this team is 4-1, but haven't played 4-1 football. And I think this is a wake-up call a little bit. And in some ways, I think this can be a very positive in the fact that, hey, they learned that they could lose a football game because, the craziest stat I saw coming into this game, the Eagles have now gone 5 games where they've been outgained yardage-wise by the opponent. 5 consecutive games. coming in, they were the only 4-0 team since 1940 to lose the yardage in every game, with the exception of Arizona in, I believe it was 2012. They were the only other team that started 4-0 and got outgained every game in that stretch, and they finished 5-11 that season. They started 4-0, they finished 5-11. So it wasn't real. And I don't think the way the Eagles were playing was real. Again, blocked field goal, win. Blocked punt helps you win. This is not stuff. It's great. They're great plays, but it's not stuff you can count on from week to week. And again, we're through 5 games now. And sure enough, Denver outgained them in the game with that fourth quarter performance. So they're 0 for 5. Now, that's not what wins on the scoreboard, but I think it's important that says you're not necessarily outplaying these teams, maybe as fans think as much as they're outplaying these teams.
No doubt about it. Johnny Mac, great show today, brother. We will catch you on Birds 365 in the morning. Travel home safely. Thank you, John McMullen. Thank you, brother.
All right, thanks, guys.
All
See you
right,
later, man.
There's Johnny Mac joining us here on the JAKIB Postgame Show. Big sales were overtime, brother. Thank you, man, for doing it. Your final thoughts here on the Eagles dropping the first game of the year today.
Yeah, man, it's the way that the team lost. Everybody loses in the NFL. It's the way they lost. I mean, an inferior roster, you were up on them. You had all the intangibles. And who would have thought the worst side of the football is the offensive side and not the defensive side? Can you imagine if they had lost 5 starters on the offensive side of what that thing would look like? I can't get over it, man. How do you get away from running the football when you have the lead against the team you're dominating in the first half? They got into the fourth quarter and Denver dominated them, dude. I mean, they completely got away from everything that they did to get them to 20-1. And then they started throwing the football. So Angelo Cataldi made a promise to me that he's going to be on here if they end up losing. So he's on the show on Monday. By the way, Dougie P will be on the show on Tuesday at 3:30. And
we got a Thursday game, Sills. We got a big link here on JAKIB Sports, baby.
I'm just telling you. Now, look, I'll make this point to everybody. That loss doesn't make me do this. Well, the Eagles are not the team that beats still in the NFC. That doesn't make me do that. I don't see any do you see a dominant team in the NFC right now? I mean,
no.
And you lost to a playoff team, right? You look at all these playoff teams that you played: Denver, the Bucks, Kansas City, the Rams. I mean, you're playing the toughest schedule in football here. Zander, you weren't going to win every single game in a row. This is the NFL. They're good too. So I'm not. My problem was the way they lost, though, dude. And the way that they were beat up in the fourth quarter. They were beat up, dude. And Barkley only has 1 carry in the entire second half. A lot of things to be answered.
That's why I don't entirely agree with John that it's more on the defense. I understand the defense is the one who gave up the points, but
I'm with you.
You got 2 sides to a football team, man. You can't put your defense. I mean, they left him out on an island and said, here, do everything. You know, I mean, you can't do that week in and week out. They've done that enough already this year, and the defense has bailed them out. They weren't able to do it today.
Boy, there's going to be a lot of cooking on Monday, boy. I got to tell you.
What will be the I got 2 things to say to you, right? What will be the difference between the Big Sills on post game this week and the Monday edition of the National Football Show? And then number 2, you look awfully handsome on the show today, Big Sills, with the JAKIB lid on, my friend. I like it.
Here's the difference, because we broke down the game today. I'm going to break down what we've seen now for what now? What is it? 17, 18, 19, 20 quarters? Of football?
Yep.
How do you think the Eagles have played in 20 quarters of football?
C.
Is C good enough to win a Super Bowl?
No, but you don't need to be playing much more than that in October. So we got to keep getting better, though. Got to keep stacking them. Got to keep getting better.
Okay, and plus, now you got the Giants coming up. So you might get fool's gold on Thursday night, where everybody all of a sudden
every team gets get-right games. That's okay. Confidence game. Yep.
Okay. That's why, but you got to keep everything in context here. My problem is that coordinator, dude. I mean, something's up with it.
See, me and you are more on the same page. John doesn't seem to be buying into that story even a little bit.
Because nobody wants to answer. Why'd you get away?
I don't think it's all the coordinator, but I also can't agree with John where it's none of the coordinator.
I know.
Like, I'm sorry. I just can't buy that, man. I can't buy it. Is the coordinator in control of the offense or is he not? You know, that's what it comes down to. So, Big Sills, great show today, brother. We'll catch you tomorrow, my man.
I will see you tomorrow, 2 to 6 on the National Football Show. Big Z, I appreciate you. Be checking you out on Birds 365 in the morning. And again, like I said, I wouldn't have Sky is falling, but there's some question marks going into this New York Giants game on Thursday night. See you soon, brother.
We'll see how his thought process evolves by 2 p.m. tomorrow on the National Football Show. I'm looking forward to it. Appreciate everybody for being here. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Let's go to the comments. What is everybody saying in the comments? What did you make? Come on. Come on. We're here in the post-game show. What is the take from JAKIB Nation today? We took some super chats. I'll make sure I get through the rest of them. If you haven't had a super chat responded, say it now. What you said, I missed it, and I will get to it. All right. I think I got the most of them. Some of them get mixed up. You know, they're all over the place. So hit me in the comments if I didn't get to your super chat. I will get to them. The good news, if you're interested, the good news is we did activate a jersey giveaway. Okay, we did activate a jersey giveaway. We had 3 giveaways on Friday. We gave away a jersey last week to my boy Mad Bird. So we do have a jersey giveaway. We'll do that on Monday or probably Tuesday's edition of Birds 365. All right, so that's a positive. What do we got? Let's see what the great people of JAKIB Nation are saying. Underdog, I'm coming to you, my boy. He said, a QB who's more comfortable reading defenses turns those sacks into positive plays and eliminates some of the 3 and outs. I do agree Jalen has to take some responsibility for the 3 and outs. I do agree with that. Too many 3 and outs. Too many 3 and outs. All right. Way too many. Daz says Eagles could play their 3rd stringers and beat the Giants. Daz, I don't know about that. You don't want to go too far, man. You don't want to go too far. All right. I hear you, Daz, but Dirty Air says it's mostly execution. Dirty Air, I think the interesting part about that comment, a lot of people will just say it's a bullshit response, but there's probably a lot of truth in it, honestly. I mean, you saw a lot of plays today. If that AJ play gets executed, if Dotson keeps those feet in bounds, like there was a lot of big plays that were left out there, a lot of meat left on the bone. Somebody put that in the super chat today. I thought that was an appropriate way to look at it. A lot of meat left on the bone. So if you can execute some of those things, you know, what kind of outcome are you looking at So I do think that's a fair way to look at it. All right. Kem says, I'm about putting together 2 halves. If we can do that, we're good. Kem, I agree 100%, man. I agree 100%. I mean, that's the best part about this team, and I said this a week ago when they were 4-0, is we're playing C football and we're winning. You know, today you don't play great football. You still don't put 2 halves together, and you lose by, you lose by in a squeaky loss. So if this team is able to put it all together, I do think the sky is the limit for them. There's no doubt about it. Now, I want everybody to answer this. Am I due a play to Crow? Am I due a play to Crow? I have been calling for weeks. We got to pass more. We need A.J. DeVonta more involved. We got to pass the football. We got to be more balanced. We have to get there if we want to go back to the Super Bowl. Here we go today. 6 carries for Saquon. 38 attempts for Jalen Hurts, and we lose the game. Now, I know there's other variables. I understand that. But part of me is just like the common denominator can't be denied. We throw the ball and we lose. Wally, I appreciate this, Wally. This is a smart viewer. He says, no, you said we need to pass more, not every play. Wally, you're right. I'm just trying to, I don't know, man. You know, part of me is just like, Wally, maybe I got to shut the F up. You know? Elizabeth says, no, Xander, but I'm biased. Well, Elizabeth, thank you for being biased toward me. Thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate that. All right. Greg Miller says, Kevin Patullo is taking a knife to a gun. A knife? He's taking one of those, you know the fairs you went to when you were a kid, and there was the goofy balloon man, and he blew up these long balloons, and he made one into a sword for you, and you would whack your brother in the head with it, or your sister, or whatever. You know, that's what he's bringing to the gunfight. He's got a blow-up balloon. He's got a blow-up balloon trying to slash you through with it. It's not working, Greg. The balloon popped. The balloon popped. Oh, man, Kevin Patullo. I like this one. He's throwing rocks at a tank. Ooh, that's brutal. That's brutal. Considering a 9mm is nothing for a tank. Rocks at a tank are certainly no good. All right? Are certainly no good. Let me make sure I got all my super chats. War Fighter, what's up, dude? The Eagles game, I got that one. I don't know if I agree. Caleb says that John is right. Get up and ready on the ball. Yeah, they're not doing that. They're not doing that. Morris, I think I saw this one. You know where I noticed a little bit of a lack of emotion? And it's not so much emotion. I don't really give a shit about Hurts not showing emotion. I really don't care. I really don't care about the emotion part of it. But you know what I did notice from Jalen that I think would be fair criticism of him? I understand he's a very stoic, calm, demeanored man, and I have no problem with that. But he took a sack in the final drive when you have 1 minute and 6 seconds to go, 66 seconds to go, 74 yards. They got 0 timeouts, and the first drop back, he takes a sack. He gets close to the line of scrimmage, but he takes a sack. And he gets up, and I'm like, where is the sense of urgency? Where is the get the ball to the official, get on the ball, and get the hike? You know, there was no sense of urgency there, and that bothered me just a little bit. I know it's Jalen. I get it, and I'm really not here to crush him for it. I think there is certain moments where you have to be a little bit – you can't be so committed to your personality that you know what I mean, you're slow on the ball. You have 50 seconds left, Jalen. Get on the fucking ball. What are we doing here? You know? That bothered me a little bit, but maybe I'm overstating it. Marquise says, what's up, Marquise? Zander, I was just at the game. Offense wasn't clicking in the second half, and penalties killed us. I will admit Jalen held the ball too long. Yeah, he does. He holds the ball a little long, man. I think they beat him. I think they beat it into him too much, though. All right? Yeah, my point wasn't about the play, Dirty Air. It was more about just getting on the ball. Like, I understand you're a calm dude and everything, but, like, dude, get on the ball. Like, every second's valuable, you know? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I really don't. I'm perfectly good being wrong. A lot of people come in there and like, see, Zander, you're wrong. I'm like, all right, I was wrong. You know, it is what it is. If you think any of you are right 100% of the time talking about football, guess what? You're not. And your ego's a little big. Philly Don says, everyone's kicking themselves in the ass, including Zander, calling for more of a passing game. I know, Don. Eric Long says, no, you're not due a plate of crow. You've been calling for balance, see? That wasn't balanced today. One extreme to another. It's just a strange offense. It really is. It really is a strange offense, you know? Here's AJ. AJ, dude. AJ, I love you, AJ, and you're a great supporter, and I see you on Twitter, and I appreciate how much you've been here. Dude, Jalen Hurts is a grown man, AJ. He doesn't need you to defend him from any time somebody says something negative about him. He's a grown man. His pocketbook is full. He's the leader of a Super Bowl champion football team. He wears a C on his chest. He's the face of Jordan. Like, he's a grown man. He's okay. AJ, he'll be okay. I promise you. A little criticism will not hurt him. I promise you, AJ. You don't have to defend him from every single sort. He's responsible for the good and the bad, dude. He's the quarterback of the team. I don't know why you have such a propensity to bail him out of any sort of criticism. Are you saying the quarterback of the team who touches the ball every single play has nothing to do with the stagnant offense at times? Come on, AJ. I appreciate it. He says if it's fair. All right, it's fine. You don't think it's fair, you're allowed to call that out. You're entitled to do that just like I'm entitled to call you out. That's perfectly fine. All right. Underdog says it was never even reasonable to expect Jalen to consistently read as if that fits his skill set. Underdog, I know where you stand, my friend. You've made that very clear, and I respect you for it. Tua says, thank you. Jalen protectionists act like he can't be criticized. Well, I think there is a little bit. Look, I picked on AJ. AJ, I didn't mean to pick on you, but I think there is a little bit of that with all of Philadelphia. You know, you don't like people. It's like this. If you're a fan of the Eagles, right, DH or Tua, whatever your name is, if you're a fan of the Eagles, you'll shit on the Eagles. You'll say they played like shit today. Jalen's got to be better. You'll criticize everybody. But the second a Cowboy fan starts criticizing them, you're like, yo, dude, shut the fuck up. You're wrong about this. You're wrong about that. You know what I mean? So I get it. You know, I think there's a little bit of that too with Eagle fans, and I'm guilty of that as well. So I have no problem with it. All right, let's go back to AJ. He says, I'm a grown man. I can take it, Zay. I just like Jalen to just be fair. I got you, brother. Hey, man, listen. No problem with that either. He is the most successful Eagles quarterback in franchise history. He has brought us a Super Bowl. We did have a parade on Broad Street in February, James, because of the offense that he led. So you're not entirely wrong, AJ. You're not entirely wrong, all right? You're not entirely wrong. All right, everybody, I got to take a quick commercial break. I think I got all my super chats. If I missed your super chat, you drop it in the comments. Just say, yo, Z, you missed my super, brother, and I will get to it, all right? So if I missed it, put it in the comments. I'll get to it. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. I got to grab a drink, and we'll do about a 45-minute post-game show, all right? We got to run. I went way over time on the post-game show, but we'll do 45 minutes of post-game. I'll send out the link to all the great people of JAKIB Nation. If you hate my takes, you can come on and tell me you hate my takes and tell me why I'm wrong. If you're not and you just want to listen, that's good too, but I will share out the link in a little bit. Appreciate everybody for being here. We'll be right back in 3 minutes.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you.
We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Welcome back in, everybody, to the JAKIB Postgame Show. It's not the postgame show. The Eagles lose the first game of the year. Guys, I got to be honest with you. I started the show today on the postgame show here on JAKIB Sports today. Appreciate everybody for being here. I started the show today. I was in uncharted territory. I almost forgot what it was like to do a show on a post-game show after the Eagles lose. I got to be, I mean, I started doing post-games last year. They lost, 4 games total last year, 2 of them in the first week or in the first 4 weeks. And then they lost, 1 more game? That's it? So they had 3 losses total last year, right? Because the game that the third game they lost was when Jalen got hurt. And I almost forgot what it was like to do a show after a loss. Every single other game, it's like they figure out a way to win, no matter how ugly, no matter what there is to bitch about, no matter what we got to talk about. They won the game. So I kind of forgot how to do a post-game show when they lose. I'll tell you that much, all right? But overall, good stuff throughout. The Eagles lose today. So, I will say this, and again, maybe this is where my optimistic Eagle fan comes into the game or comes into the conversation. And look, if it is, that's perfectly fine. I always try and be honest with everybody. But maybe this is where my optimism comes in this team and in this game. But you have so much to clean up, and you lose by the skin of your teeth here. Like, I feel like this Eagles team is still in such good shape. I mean, they can turn this thing around. They start to click a little bit more on offense. I think this whole thing just gets right back on its ship. I really do. I think the whole thing gets right back on the ship, So, Chester, I kind of agree. I mean, part of me is like, and maybe this is another optimism made, but who knows? I think they learned from this today. I really do. You learn more in your losses in life than you do from your successes. Anybody that's had any level of success or failure in life would probably say the same thing. I certainly can say that in my life when I've failed and when we've failed drastically, even in this business. I learned a lot more then than I did when we were riding highs, So I think part of me is like, I'd rather lose early. I'd rather lose to an AFC team. I'd rather lose a game where you can kind of get everybody on the same page, So, hey, maybe that's the optimism view here, but it is what it is. What's it, King? What's up, brother? Salute, Zander, in chat. Appreciate you, brother. Here's the link, guys. I got to make a thumbnail, so just bear with me. I got a little bit of production on the fly to do, as I normally have to do. You guys know that. You guys are used to me doing that by now. All right. Eric Long says, I'm with you, Zay, but I don't know about AJ. I think there's a problem there and not a small one either. Eric, it does seem to be permeating. I'm not sure what AJ said after the game, but I did apparently hear he was, I don't know, no comment or something about Jalen Hurts. I'm not really sure. I'm not going to make too much of it. Again, what I'm not going to do is play therapist or play, we had some people doing that this week, and I'm like, I'm not about to speculate on A.J. Brown, where he is mentally and all those different things. But, is there something there? It kind of looks like there's something there. I don't know how much is there, but it's certainly something. All right, let's go to a couple guys. We got people joining us here for the post-game show. We'll go right to it right now. Let me just double-check real quick. I got to do production on the air, guys. Give me a sec. All right. When you got a one-man show, that's what you got, all right? You got somebody who's got to do it all. Here we go. Let's go to Joe Whipp coming up first here on the post-game show. He joins me right now. Joe, what's going on, man? Welcome into the post-game show, the first loss in a while for this team.
Zander, watching that game, did it remind you of watching the Phillies yesterday?
Oh, gosh. You're going to bring up the Phillies right now. Phillies lost. No. Eagles lost. Penn State lost.
Good for Penn State. I don't give a shit.
Me neither.
But I could care less. No, but they had one inning and then they did nothing the rest of the night. It was like they should have had 17 points at a minimum in the first half. So this is the problem. The defense, people forget. Last week they were on the field a lot in Tampa in the heat. And today they wilted at the end. These things work together, the offense and the defense. And when the offense does nothing for at least a half of the game, the defense is going to wear down at the end.
I agree. John said defense. I'm like, offense has got to move the ball more consistently.
I mean, people were taking, I've seen it in the chat. Well, maybe they'll learn their lesson. They should have learned their lesson already. They're not making any improvements. It's the same shit every week.
Where's the fault in your eyes then?
Well, there's a lot of blame to go around. Okay. The offensive line is not playing well. Okay. I mean, Mulata almost got Hurts killed on whiffing on a block again today. So there's a lot of blame to go around. I think there's a lot of breakdowns and stupid penalties, just stupid penalties. And I blame part of it on the head coach. Head coach should say to the offensive coordinator, why aren't we running the ball? Did we forget about running the ball? It's not just on the OC. The head coach should be saying, hey, let's run the ball a couple times instead of just throwing it over and over and over again. I've watched enough of the film this year. I've seen AJ take routes off, and I'm sorry, he did.
It cost him today. It absolutely cost him.
He quit on the route. And
I agree.
I'd be up his ass if I'm the head coach.
I've been defending AJ all year. That bit him today. He got in a habit of taking plays off because he knew the ball wasn't coming for him. He took a play off and the ball was right there. He would have walked in for a touchdown.
Yeah, and he sits on the bench and he's just slouching on the bench. I mean, it looked like he was in a coma in the second half on the bench. I don't know what the hell's going on with him. But there's been a lot of mistakes, and they're not making the – how many games in a row where they play one good half and one crappy half?
Three straight now.
I mean, between the first drive on the second half and the end, they had 15 yards from scrimmage. I mean, come on. I mean, they're not making any improvements. And, you know, and at the end result, I have to, you know, come down to the coach. No, I think Howie deserves some because Howie fucked up in the offseason. Too many changes.
Too much. Agreed.
And it's a problem. By the way, the Chargers are getting mauled by Washington.
Are they? Really?
It's only 20-10, but Herbert's running for his life.
Oh goodness!
You know,
they're down a lot of offensive linemen.
You think an offensive line's bad? You should see the Chargers.
Yeah, they lost Joe.
He throws a 30-yard pass, and the right tackle's fucking off, holding or offsides.
Sam Darnold apparently balling. Your favorite, Joe. Sam Darnold, Pumpkin Darnold, having another good year.
Well, he's trying, but he's running for his life. But in the end result, the Eagles need to fix the shit. And I don't know, you know, when you watch these other teams' offense, the Eagles look like they're running a mom and pop shop.
Yeah,
on their offense. I mean, they've got to fix something. I don't know what the problem is. I don't get paid enough to worry about it. You know, you know, if the Eagles want me on the staff,
I don't even get paid enough to worry about it, Joe.
No, not even. I know. Well, I had the stout hoodie on today at the farmer's.
Yeah, the stout hoodie is going to be expired by the year if this O-line can't turn it around, man. I'm going to have to retire stout you.
Yeah, it's going to be. Yeah, they're going to be in trouble. They're going to be out of business like Valley Forge Military Academy.
Yeah, right.
So you know, so it's yeah, they got to fix it. I don't know how they're going to fix it. They have a short week. No way Dickerson. You know,
we're gonna beat the brakes.
The offensive line played better with Toth in there than with Dickerson.
Dude, Dickerson's been bad. They should sit him down for a couple weeks.
Yeah, he shouldn't be playing. He shouldn't play Thursday, and he shouldn't come back until after the bye.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty clear. And a memo to Quinyon: quit grabbing people. They're clearly. I mean, he barely grabbed them, right? I mean, he had a hold of that jersey for like a nanosecond, and the guy threw a flag, which tells me some of these crews are looking for it. Yeah. You know, so he's got.
It was a big talk of town, and that's typically what happens once a ref catches on that you're getting away with a lot. They hone in on it. We'll see how it shakes out. Joe, good stuff, man. I'll talk to you again next week. All right, brother?
I will not. I hope I don't win the jersey on Tuesday. I have to go to my brother's father-in-law's.
Joe, if you win the jersey, guess what? The dictatorship comes into play. All right. Okay. The dictatorship comes in large. All right. Joe, thank you, brother.
I have to be at a funeral, so sorry, Zander. I can't
no worries,
spend all my time.
No worries. God bless whoever passed and their family. All right. Thank you, Joe.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, man. There's Joe Webb joining us right here on JAKIB Postgame Show. Appreciate it. We got a new viewer. We got a famous JAKIB viewer in the house who set the joint, and I'm not talking about you, No Limit. I know you think I'm talking about you. I'm not talking about you, No Limit. I'm talking about you, Kimberly. We got Kimberly who's going to join the show in just a second here. We got Ryan on the bench, and we got No Limit. A couple more people here coming up on the post-game show. Guys, this is the funniest part about the post-game show. Where's the optimistic Aussie? I will tell you guys, without fail, every single week on the post-game show, when I put the link in the chat, the very first person to click the link, no matter what, is Anton. It's every week. They lose a game and Anton's nowhere to be found. The optimistic Aussie, I hate to say it, brother, but you're getting docked for that. Let's go to Kimberly. She joins us right now on the post-game show here on JAKIB Sports. Kimberly, what's going on?
What's going on?
Great to have you on, Kimberly. Thanks for joining us. What do you think? The first loss of the year, Kim.
I think it's good that it happened now. I'm really glad that it happened. I think the other shoe needed to drop. I think they needed, like you said, they need to learn from it. You know, we're both SEC fans, and I was listening to Saban yesterday on the college game show. Yeah, and he was saying you learn more from your losses than you learn from your wins.
Right.
And I'd rather it happen now because now we have the whole season ahead of us to correct it.
Well, what are you seeing on offense? Because it's like, did we overcorrect it, Kim? I mean, I've talked about it where I want them to throw the ball more. AJ comes out last week, makes a stink. Now we throw the ball 38 times, 280 passing yards for Hurts, and what do you know? We got the first loss in a long time. What do you see on offense?
I see if it's not broke, don't fix it. Just like Sil says. Don't try to fix it. The recipe was working. It's not for every other team. It's for our team.
Right.
Our team, the way we run the ball. What's going on with this? And I think, you know what? The injuries on the offensive line are affecting Mulata very much. I've seen him this season. He's not playing well.
Well, he's out on an island, and you're right. He probably doesn't trust the right guard. I mean, even Dickerson, when he's out there, he probably knows he's banged up and isn't quite as good.
Yeah, so I think, like, just go back to what you did right. Why are you trying to do things? Who cares what it looks like? You're winning Super Bowls. What do you care what it looks like?
Do you think we can win a Super Bowl again, though, doing it this way? I mean, we haven't had the running game. Our
Not
defense
this
is
way.
good, but they don't look the same. I mean, again, last year we defied modern football in the way we won. I mean, even from the from the college level all the way through the pros, the modern game is built around the pass. We said, we're going to run. And we did it with two historic things in the defense and the running game. If you don't have those, you think we can do it again?
Well, Zander, what I'm going to say to you is remember last year when we won and we went into the draft, who got picked in the first round? 2 running backs.
Yep.
You never see that. Omarion Hampton, who I know you love. I love him.
And Ashton
Genty. So, and now you picked Jackson Dart, dual threat. You're picking all these dual threats. They're following us and they're watching us. So, yeah, the defenses are catching up with us. It's just part of winning.
Right.
Look at the Chiefs. Look at the Chiefs. It's not because they're not a great team, not because there's not great coaching.
Right.
It's just because people catch up with you.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What do you think of the defense? I honestly think, Kimberly, they're not – I know they didn't play perfect. I know you give up 18 straight points in the fourth quarter. I know it's not ideal, but if I'm talking about problems on this team, I don't really see the defense as being as big of a problem as others. How do you see the defense right now?
I see the secondary. The secondary is a problem. Kaylee, I think Kelly's going to work into it. I really do. I believe in the kid.
I'm trying to remain as I know you're a Georgia, so I know I'm sure you're trying to be optimistic on him, but I know he's got what it takes. I just don't know if he'll ever get it to play on the field or translate to the field.
Well, I'm going to say something to you and you're all going to laugh at me. And I know you are. So I was a dancer my whole life. And so I'm starting my own podcast and I started connecting the dots between football players and dancers. Your frontal lobe doesn't mature till you're 25. Okay. So that's why you're seeing these kids that they can't process till they're 25 years old. You're seeing it with Jordan Davis. I think Kaylee Ringo, he came into the league too early.
Right.
It's happening.
Early. And he was damn good at Georgia when he played there.
He was phenomenal.
If he had stayed another year, he might have been a first-round draft pick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's like they're coming in too early. And this is what I had said in the super chat a long time ago. They come in too early now. You have 16-year-olds who are making 6-7 figures now, who are coming in to the league at 17 years old.
Right.
How are you going to discipline your child at 17 years old? You know what I mean? They need to become men first before they become good football players. That's what I believe. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I appreciate that perspective, Kimberly. Good stuff today, Kim. They moved to 4-1 on the year. Short week. New York Giants Thursday night. What's the focus? Like, what's the message this week? Is it get back to run? What do you think the message is for this team this week?
I think the message is go back to what you did right. Don't break the recipe.
Right.
Keep the recipe what it is. And now you're going to go against the Giants. And I'm not sleeping on the Giants either with Jackson Dart.
I like Jackson Dart.
I love Jackson Dart. I think he's great. I saw him beat that
Oh,
Georgia
I
defense.
see it on your face. You like Jackson Dart.
Yeah, well, because you know what? I love underdogs. I love.
Yeah, I like him too. He's a good player, man. He is.
Yeah, I mean, and he beat Georgia defense. Hello. So, you know what? Don't sleep on it. Don't play down to your competition.
I think it's a good point by you. Kimberly, thanks so much for joining. We've been waiting to get you on. You're well known and well loved in the chat. Thanks for all your super chat contributions you gave us, especially this week. I know you're a big one. Thanks, Kimberly. I'll talk to you again soon, all right?
Have a great night.
All right. Thank you, Kimberly. There's good stuff. And Kimberly joins us here on the Post-Game Show. Appreciate her joining in. That's Kimberly Sirico from the chat. All of you know her, I'm sure, in the chat. So appreciate her joining in. Let's go to my boy, Ryan on the bench. And then No Limit, I got you next, brother. Let's go to Ryan on the bench right now. He joins me here on the Post-Game Show. There he is. How you doing, brother? First loss in a while that we've been talking here on the Post-Game.
Certainly has been a first loss in a while, but you know, that's just the nature of football, isn't it? Right? So,
no doubt about it. What'd you make of it today, man? What'd you make of it? Where's the problem? Did we overcorrect? What do you think? How'd you see it?
I'm not upset that we lost. I'm upset about the way that we lost. I think everybody kind of feels the same way. You lose games in the NFL, and listen, we've talked about it before in the past. Run the ball, stop the run, don't turn the ball over. When you do those things, you win games. The Broncos didn't turn the ball over. They ran the ball, and we obviously didn't run the ball. So obviously you're going to win the game when you do those things. The other thing that I'm hearing from a lot of people are they're saying things like, oh, yeah, we're going to learn our lesson now. Where do we see evidence that this team is going to learn their lesson this year at all? From week one
what
to
is
now.
The lesson? Real quick, what is the lesson?
Well, again, that's what I'm trying to figure out for everybody.
Yeah, and I think everybody might be trying. Even Jalen sounded like he's trying to figure that out with his presser.
Yeah, because obviously they don't have an identity on offense, which is part of the problem. They can't run the ball, whether it's due to health, whether it's due to scheme or what have you. But everybody seems to come in just like, oh, we're the Eagles and we're going to kind of win the game based on talent. That to me feels, this is the first time where I'm feeling like, okay, that feels more like 2023, where it's like, yeah, we're just winning based on talent. And there's going to be one game where the chickens come home to roost. And like in 23, it was the San Francisco 49ers. Could it be a team like Detroit this year that just comes in, that wants us, that like they've talked about it all offseason? They're like, hey, that's the team that we wanted to play because we didn't get an opportunity against them in the NFC title game. What if they beat the brakes off us and we keep playing like this?
Right.
How will the team falter at that point? Right. So what lesson are we learning? We have no identity on offense, and whoever's calling the plays stinks. Like they have no idea what they're doing.
I think one of the tough parts of it too, brother, is if you're trying to get back to the identity that we were so successful with, it's not as simple of a fix as just go back to it because the offensive line has struggled so much this year. So it's like, what is the approach if the way we played today is not the recipe to win? And we should more model what we were able to do last year. And I guess in a way, the first 4 games, despite I really thought we win because of the defense and special teams in the first 4 games. But I digress. What is that? Like, what is the pursuit? You know, I think you got to fix the offensive line before you can really even think about that.
Well, to that, I'll just say this. We've had the best offensive line in like forever, basically. What, now that we don't have optimal play at the offensive line, the whole offense becomes kaput? Like I don't think that's a good excuse for this football team with the talent that it has. And I mean, the difference was last year, our first scripted plays every game was always terrible. And then Kellen Moore would make some sort of adjustment and we'd be able to ride off the adjustment. We have not been able to make any adjustment this year with this offense. It's always one, it's either we're passing it too much and then we go run heavy, or we figure out something that works. And then once the defense makes a change, and they stop it, we have no idea what to do. So I think a lot of this is just X's and O's, and a lot of this is just really understanding what teams are doing to you and making adjustments in game. We're not able to do that, and that's reflection of maybe that first-time play caller in Ken Patullo.
Right.
Maybe that's when, all of that kind of comes into play as opposed to actual sequencing of plays. So hopefully we get it figured out. That Thursday night game is not going to be easy. Division game. And I went to the Jackson's Darts first game. that Giants team and that fan base loves this kid.
Where were you? Were you at the New York Stadium at MetLife?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
nice.
went to the Charger game for my brother's birthday.
Cool.
So, but he brings juice. For whatever reason, he brings juice. He can't throw it a lick, in my opinion, but he freaking brings the juice for that football team.
He does make plays. You're right.
He does make plays. So they're excited about him, and they're going to come to play. And they smell blood in the water on a Thursday night on a short week after a tough loss against a physical football team in Denver. This is not a game that you could just sit here and say, oh, we're going to win based on talent. You got to come out and beat this football team. And the Giants, they got a good front seven. They got Cam Scadaboo, who's walking CTE. He's gonna freaking run the ball at your, you know what I mean? Like they're physical, man. Like they are gonna freaking come in and beat you up. So you better be ready.
Well, that's an interesting point. This dude, I did not expect you to be planting seeds of doubt on the New York Football Giants. But I hear your point. Your point is well taken.
Though. It's a short
your point's well taken. Your point's a physical game, a physical team in a tough spot physically because of the quick turnaround. There's no doubt about it. 100%. Good stuff, brother. Any final thought here from you on the Eagles' first loss of the season? Appreciate you doing it today.
No, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Listen, we just better figure out what the hell we're doing on offense, man. Figure out an identity and just get some balance. Honestly, you get some balance on this offense, and a lot of this just kind of settles in and settles down a little bit more. Right. But that and also Jalen Hurts gets hit a lot. Like he's been taking a lot of hits this year, and keeping him upright is going to be pretty important as we go on during the rest of the season. So hopefully he stays healthy.
I agree 100%. Brother, appreciate you joining in. As always, one of my favorites. I'm talking to you after the game. So it's always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you for doing it today. I'll talk to you again soon. All right?
Thank you, man. God bless.
All right. Thank you, brother. God bless. There's Ron at the bench. Appreciate him joining in. Always love talking to him after each and every single Eagles game for the most part. Let's go to my main man. No limit. It's been a little bit, my boy. Here he comes. He joins me right now on the post-game show. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Yo, bro, you can hear me?
I got you, man. You sound good. You look good. Eagles lost today, though. What you think of it?
Bro, I feel like everybody crying a little bit too much about the outcome of the game. Like, people not taking into perspective, like, all the reasons that we lost. Like, we really just played a sloppy-ass game against probably one of the best defenses, like, overall that we have faced so far. You talking about, I feel like the couple games that we played, we played against like a couple of coaches that were like great scheme coaches defensively. But this game, from top to bottom, you talking about from the roster to the coach, like Vance Joseph today, he really showed me some. Nick Bonito today, he really showed me some. Pastor Tane, he's always been that same type of corner. I don't know why people not realizing how good that defense really is. You mean? And on top of that, beside like a illegal shift where DeVonta made a crazy ass catch.
Crazy catch.
Like, people really don't understand. Like, some days it's just not your day. Every dog has their day. Like, you're not gonna win every single game. We 4-1 for a reason. If this was like a loss, like in the first couple of games, and you might have a point of being like upset or mad or something, but we 4-1. That's the AFC team we lost to. That shit doesn't really even matter in the bigger picture of things. But everybody's in this group chat, not group chat, but in this chat just crying and shit and complaining. Like,
well, welcome to
I don't understand it.
Welcome to
that's the life of an Eagles fan, right?
Yeah, it is. It is a life.
I don't get it, man. I really don't get it.
Well, what do you think of the offensive stagnancy, though? I mean, look, you're right. You put out the plays. But there's no doubt, bro. Like, even come on. Like, I get it. I understand, and I appreciate your perspective. And when this team's won 20, I guess now 22, and they won the Super Bowl, they deserve the benefit of the doubt. But does this offense look like a Super Bowl offense? Like, it doesn't, man. It doesn't to me. And that's what I'm struggling with.
I mean, it really don't. But it's like, you gotta once again take this shit into perspective. Like, bro, this might be like the worst 5-game stretch for a new rookie offensive coordinator. If you really look at it, he went against who? Steve Spagnuolo in his second game. I really don't care about the Cowboys game, but he went against Steve Spagnuolo, Todd Bowles, Vance Joseph, which has been like last year he had a great defense. Like, for a first-year coordinator, you have to cut him some slack. And one thing I've been really noticing about Kevin Patullo, like, I was against his ass. I really wanted him to get fired like the first 2 weeks, right? But like he's low-key taking these small steps and he's getting better and better every week. You can't tell me our offense in the passing game has been like the same passing game that you saw against Kansas City or some shit like that. It's been getting better like bit by bit, and it's growing pains in my own eyes. Like you're gonna have to deal with shit like this in the first year of having an offensive coordinator. You're not always just gonna have some genius Mike McDaniel or like Ben Johnson type coordinator or some shit the first year. They gotta grow into them positions, and people gotta understand that.
Keep that Mike McDaniel guy away from the Philadelphia.
All right. I'm just talking about the offensive mindset.
No,
you know what I
know
mean, though. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I know what you meant. I know.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I don't want Mike McDaniel in Phil, but I got you.
I know he's soft as shit. He's soft. I definitely know when to name him.
Well, look, I appreciate your perspective. I mean, I think it's a little Eaglesy, but that's all right. We're all a little Eaglesy.
I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't have no bias. Look, we all Eagles fans here.
Yeah, I know. Believe me, I get it too. John and Sills tell me every day. It is what it is. All right, brother. Appreciate you joining in, man. Great talking with you. Hope you've been well. Hope you're continuing to be well. Thank you, man.
I got you, bro. You have a good one.
All right, thanks, brother. There's no limit. My God, no limit. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody. That's all the members that we had today join the show. I tell you what, man. Next time you guys see Anton in this chat, you better roast that dude, man. Without fail, he's the first guy in here every single week. And they lose a game today, and he drops off the face of the planet. He's nowhere to be found. And when I say nowhere, I mean absolutely stone cold nowhere. Not even to be found. Let's give it a clap also, by the way, for Kimberly today. That was her first time joining. Kimberly's been waiting to come on the post-game show. Kimberly, I thought you were excellent today. So clap it up for Kimberly today. Kimberly did awesome. Kimberly, I hope you join on more. I think you have a good take. And I know Kimberly likes SEC football. So anybody that likes SEC football, I know knows what they're talking about. All right. So good stuff from Kimberly today. Appreciate everybody for checking in. Anton and witness protection. Don't worry, I'm hitting Anton up. I'm going to say, yo, Anton. Here's my boy Curtis. Zander, this offense is trash. Wow. And we could be 1-4 because of it. The lack of RPOs and design runs reduces Jalen to a pocket passer, and he runs a dead simple pocket passing game. Well, it's certainly not his specialty, Curtis. It's, and I think that's where you have coaching coming into it, Curtis, where I don't agree with John to some extent, where some of it's got to be on coaching. And, your job as a coach is first and foremost to put your players in position to make plays. I know the players got to make the plays, but your coach has got to get you into the position and the spot to make plays, the right way. And I don't necessarily know that the Eagles coaches have consistently done that yet this year. All right. I don't necessarily know that they've done that yet this year. Okay. So I hear you. I got it. All right. So, yeah, you're right. I got you guys. I appreciate it, Curtis. I do. I'll double check on all my super chats. All right. So just give me a second, everybody. A little bit of production on the air here. All right. As I got to do. You guys know I always got to do it. All right. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. Here's London Eagle. What's up, London Eagle? It's good to see you, my man. I appreciate you for being here. London Eagle says, evening, Z. Straight up. Why are we never going to get that blatant PI call on Goddard at the end of the fourth quarter, playing at home that late in the game? Holy shit, it was a blatant PI, brother. Well, London, I feel like this. I feel like in that moment, and I'm just speculating, London, because I think it was a pretty clear that it was pass interference, but I'm not, London, I'll say this. I am typically not somebody that likes to blame officials. Officials suck in basically every game you watch, so you have to figure out how to prevail. I also don't say that they can't impact a game. Like they can't. Certain calls impact games more than other calls. It's just the nature of the beast. It's a circumstantial game. But I think when you're at the 2-yard line, you have 20 seconds to go with no time. A team that had no timeouts. They're throwing up a ball in double coverage. It was double coverage. It really wasn't that catchable of a football. I think they don't want to throw that flag there because what are you going to do? Put the Eagles at the 2-yard line? You know what I mean? I don't know. I think most officials there grab the flag and they hold on and they just say, I'm not going to put the Eagles at the 2-yard line here by calling that flag. That's my thought. It doesn't mean I'm right, London, and it doesn't mean they're right. But you asked me, why are we never going to get it? That's my answer in that moment. I don't know much more outside of that. And I agree with Josh. He says you shouldn't have even been in that position. You were up 17-3. There's no doubt, man. There's no doubt. I mean, look, at the end of the day, is that more important or is the refs more important? That's an accountability conversation, right? That's an accountability. Marina says Kevin Patullo comes to work on a tricycle. Did I miss anybody's super chat? I got my boy D.O. Here's one I missed. Tired of the overcorrections. Hurts, offensive coordinator, Nick, all have a more balanced attacking game plan. D.O., balanced is a word that doesn't appear to be in the Eagles dictionary. Straight up dude was straight up dude. I don't know if I said that right. Appreciate it, man. He says he was tackled, though. You can't say you had no shot. That's fair. I mean, he was hit pretty hard. I don't know. Straight up, maybe I'm wrong, and I've been on the show, so I haven't had the ability to rewatch it more than whatever the replay they gave us on the screen was. But Eric, I'll look for it, bro. I never want to miss yours, Eric. You're one of our best, so I appreciate you, Eric. But it didn't look to me like he would have had much of a shot, even if there was no contact. I don't know. Maybe he would have. Maybe I'm way wrong. All right, maybe I'm way wrong. Let me find my boy Eric. Eric, I apologize, bro. I did not mean to miss yours if I missed it. Let me look for this thing. Here we go. I did miss it. My bad, brother. My bad. Eric says, one extreme to another. Denver loosened the box in the second half, and we didn't adjust. No in-game adjustments. That's so true. It's so true. And we never ran the ball in that loosened box. And we just tried to throw on them consistently in the second half. It didn't work at all. You had four drives. This is where look, I get the defense wasn't great today, but I don't get how John comes on and he's like, it's more defense. Dude, it's a complimentary game of football. You can't just use that when it fits your narrative. If it's complimentary in every other area of the game, and your offense has 4 straight 3-and-outs or 3 straight 3-and-outs and 4 drives where they got -2 yards in the total, that's going to impact your defense. It's certainly going to impact your interior linemen who are 300-plus pounds, trying to get after the quarterback. It's certainly going to affect your cornerbacks who are playing, in coverage in that back there. I mean, I think it all flows together. I really don't understand how, you can dumb it down and say that it doesn't affect the defense. But you are right, Eric. The extremes are too much. Look, this is what we talked about, Eric, last week. The highs are high and the lows are way too low. The lows are way too low, and it cost them today. Here's Valorius. Look, Valorius, I understand, and I appreciate the comment. And you're fair to throw those, to shoot those bows at me. You're fair, my friend. He says, well, Zander, you got all your passing yards. Eagles lose the game. 6 carries for Barkley. It's right. You're right, Valorius. Even though I feel like, Valorius, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Even though I feel like they didn't lose the game today because they passed the ball, they lost the game because of there was timely flags out there. There was different moments in the game where I felt like they lost the game and it wasn't because they passed the ball. They had the lead until the fourth quarter. But where you're right is the common denominator is when they have this prolific passing attack and they stick to the run, they win the football game. Well, they didn't stick to the run today and they lose the football game. So you're right. There's not much more I can push back on you there. He says, make it the word of the day to the offending staff. I don't know what you mean, Dio. I don't know what you mean there. All right, I hope I got everybody's super chats. I do appreciate all of you guys, especially the 4 of you who joined in the post-game show. Joe Whip, excellent as always. I sent Joe Whip a beautiful Stout U sweatshirt. I sent a couple more people a Stout U sweatshirt this week. My guy, Gary Sexton. Brandon, I think, chose a shirt and a hat. Abe, I think, is getting a Stout U sweatshirt. I sent Abe a pretty sick care package this week. I owed him because he helped me with those designs, guys, for the Stout U and the JAKIB Bleeds Green. And all of a sudden, Stout U is Stout U. Did they take a year off? Did they become Trump U? Incoming politics people who can't handle a joke. I know. Holy shit. Stout U's out of business. All right. You got your fancy passing game, Z. I'm sorry. Valorius, I don't want it anymore. Take it back, Valorius. I'm sorry I wanted our $60 million worth of wide receivers to get the football. I now have learned my lesson that the idea that A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith should get the football is complete and utter bullshit. We don't need it. We don't want it. It doesn't help, and we don't win. It's crazy, but it's the truth. Oh, man. We lost. I can't believe it. I honestly can't believe it. I will say this. Literally until the final buzzer rang. Until the final buzzer rang, I honestly thought we were going to win. I swear to you. Because we always win. We always seem to figure out how to win. And until that clock struck 0, I legitimately, before this postgame show, I sat in this office. I got my TV right there. Okay. I sat right in front of my TV like this. And I'm thinking the whole time, Eagles are going to get in there, dude. They're going to get in the end zone and they're going to win the game. The whole time I'm thinking that. Because they do it every week. And then we would have had another conversation of how ugly the end of the game was. But they won. I thought it was coming. It didn't come. I thought Kimberly made a good point. 1 sec. I thought Kimberly made a good point today on the show where she talked about it's good to get it early here, because I do believe you learn more from losses. I do. I think that's universally true in life. I really do. I don't know what all of you guys do. I don't know what it is in your life. By the way, Valorius, is that a four-wheeler I see? Valorius, is that a four-wheeler? What do you got there? Is that a Can-Am, a Polaris? What do you got there? But again, sorry to get distracted. My ADHD is kicking. Valorius distracted me with a four-wheeler. Fucking thing is sweet. I love four-wheelers. But it's better to learn early here in this season. And I truly do believe you learn more from your failures in life. Regardless of whatever it is you do, you all know what I do, obviously. This goes for being a man, a woman, a father, a husband, a wife, a daughter, a brother, a son, a CEO, a janitor, a bus driver, a UPS man, a postal service worker, a lawyer, whatever the case is. When you fuck up, you learn more, right? It's just how life works. More went wrong that you can learn from. So I think the loss today will give them an opportunity to be honest. Jalen will be honest with himself. AJ might have to be honest with himself. DeVonta will have to be honest with himself. DeVonta had a big game. DeVonta had the quote late in the week. Hey, I'm upset too. I certainly agree with AJ Brown. All right, DeVonta Smith, 8 catches, 114 yards today, and we lost the football game. So I get it. Hear me. I get it. But yeah, it is. It's not the end of the world. I agree with everybody who says that. I was hoping Valorius was still here to give me a response on that four-wheeler because I like that thing. All right. Everybody. I appreciate all you guys for listening in today. Thanks so much for doing it. As always, hit the like button. Thanks to all the people who joined the show today. All right, we will have a giveaway this week. That's the good news. We will have a giveaway this week, so I appreciate it, man. Hit the like button. See you next time, everybody.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.